KFC. Hello.
I just realized my mic was off. Sorry, and we are live. So I just did a whole intro with my mic off. Sorry, Kinetic, welcome. I actually just started. Was about to explain why I was solo for a minute, but okay, it's working out. It's Cake with Kelsey. I am your host, Kelsey, along with Kinetic, who is right here, and Miss Supernerd, who will be joining us shortly, or has just joined us. Welcome, welcome.
Howdy, can y'all hear me?
Yes, your mic is on. I started the show, did my little intro without my mic on. So, and then
the best of us.
Yeah, and then realized Kinetic was there. So I hope I sound right. Wasn't able to do a mic check. So I hope it's all good. You guys sound great. Welcome. I was just gonna go into a whole little solo talk to myself kind of thing, and actually talk about last week, some comments I received from last week's broadcast, but I think we'll skip that and get into, or we can do that together whenever it pops up. No, it's I'll let it out. It's a couple little things, and how it related slightly to just things that we've commented on, and how it related to a couple of one of the posts I put up recently or earlier today about running background checks on exes and basically who you let into your life and everything like that, and things we've commented on. But before we jump into all that, I'm just going to remind people that this is the live show. It's Tuesday, December 13th. 9 p.m. or just after 9, and we are live to air. So this is the chance you get to call in, join the conversation, voice your own opinion, and respond to what we say, or if you have something new, interesting to bring it. The link to join will be posted on the page that you're actually listening to the show on the right-hand column. I'm going to do that sooner than later tonight, within the next 10 minutes or so you can look out for that. You just need Google Hangouts on your device, whether it's your PC, tablet, smartphone, and click that link and it'll bring you right into the conversation. Just be nice when you come in, be polite. And vexradio.com, if you want to invite your friends to listen in to the show, you can direct them to vexradio.com. At the very top of the page, you'll see the link that'll take them right here to listen and join the conversation if they'd like to as well. Yeah, so all the other stuff I'll get into eventually, but what's up? How y'all doing?
Good.
Loud and clear. Until you start saying something really good, right? But
No, exactly. I want to apologize to the listeners. That I don't know what's happening here.
Rob, yeah, no, we're good now.
Telecommunications doesn't love me.
Yeah, well.
I apologize for all technical difficulties that may happen in the future.
No more in the future. Let's hope this is all a thing of the past. And speaking of the past, I do, seeing that this is one of the last shows, we are in December, mid-December, a couple more weeks, a couple more Tuesdays. And so this is nearing the end of 2016. So I think instead of just doing one show devoted, we are, not I think, but we are going to be reflecting and looking back at some of the things, the highlights and not so highlights of 2016. Overall, for me, and I think a lot of people share this, and it's not just the typical, oh yeah, this year was crap. I think 2016 was a very heavy year for a lot of people, and it felt, it didn't satisfy a lot of people. It didn't live up to expectations. And I mean, how does a year do that? How does a time period do that? I think it's more about us looking at ourselves and reflecting and all that good stuff. But I think, and then there were some clear disappointment and very low, like a lot of people that were lost or had moved on this year. So there were a lot of negative moments a lot of people were able to relate to or feel at the same time. And I think that had a ripple effect. And so we'll get into that as well. And people right here in Toronto, I mean, there were a couple key figures or on personal level too, popular people that were lost and things like that. So I think we can, I don't know how you guys feel. I just want to ask in general, 2016, high, low, or just another year. What's your overall feel? Not to put you on the spot or anything, but but no, speaking from your just like for real, because I see posts all the time too, like whoever said 2016 was going to be the year, whatever lied, or they should be whatever, whatever should happen to them, or people looking forward to 2017 being a better year. And I can't recall seeing that so many posts like that about previous years. And yeah.
Well, for me personally, you know what? It was a very interesting roller coaster year for me. It's some unexpected things popped up on me, and which really affected my finances that I didn't see coming. I thought it was gonna be like the year for me. I thought 2016 was gonna be like the defining one, like my most financial successful year, I'm like, yeah, I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm the man, like, and some things kind of popped up on me, and it was like actually, 1 year, November 1st actually was was quote unquote the year. And it was just, I don't know, it was just very weird. A lot of stuff came at me on a sideway that I didn't see coming. Kind of blindsided me, and affected part of my finances. But it didn't necessarily take me out of the game, but it kind of like, all right, let's watch 2016 set up for 2017, and yeah. So it was kind of a interesting roller coaster year.
So for me, I would say that 2016 was a good year. Like if this was like a wine, like this would be like Joe Thomas. 2016 was a good year for me. Let me just get this out of the way so I can get cussed up by Kinetic. I traveled more than I ever have in one 12-month period. So that was pretty dope. And it kind of reaffirmed the love affair that I have with travel. Thanks, Mom, for making me a travel addict from the womb to the tomb. So I got to check off a few places on my bucket list. So that was pretty dope in terms of travel. Career-wise, I wouldn't say it was a roller coaster. I would say that 2016 was a year of clarity, and some moments of clarity were uncomfortable, and some moments of clarity were extremely liberating. So I'm really grateful for every lesson that I kind of took on in terms of career choices and personal intellectual development. I'd say it's a good year. Health-wise, I would probably say this is probably one of the better years that I've had health-wise, and I've been on like a medical roller coaster for a few years now. So health-wise, I'm just really grateful for how this year kind of shaped and evolved me from a holistic perspective. Anybody who's known me for a minute and has followed Miss Supernerd on Instagram or any other platform knows that I used to blog about holistic health and the balance of health under the handle LibraFit, which will be back. And I talked about of good health and all the different pillars of good health. So health-wise, I've had really great moments. I've had some trying moments. So I would say it's been a great year. I've been extremely grateful for 2016 because, like you mentioned just now, there are some people who didn't make it to the end of 2016. There's some people who barely made it into 2016. I will say that I saw the New Year, New Me post at the beginning of 2016. I probably was one of the New Year, New Me posters of 2016. I won't say that I'm a new me. I'll say I'm a better version of me because I'm still me. So I've deviated away from doing the New Year, New Me. I've deviated from waiting until the first of the month or Monday or a specific date to make things happen. And I think that's been one of the major evolutions for me. I've always kind of waited for this, magical time of year when, like, this is when things are supposed to pop off. The planets align, Orion is in its zenith, and Venus is doing whatever the heck she's doing with Saturn and everything. Like I've deviated from that and really focused on being very present. Don't get me wrong, I am a woo-woo tree hugger and I do pay attention to the stars and all that other good stuff. But I haven't waited for life or opportunities to happen for me. I'm not necessarily where I want to be, but I'm in a far better place, regardless of the fact that I didn't hit my timeline. And I think I've learned to be more patient and forgiving with myself. As you get older and you have, a circle of friends and they're evolving, and especially for women, and especially for me as an African woman, when you hit a certain age, people start asking, like, when you getting married, when you gonna pop out the kids, how come you don't have X, Y, and Z? And for like a quick minute, I used to tell my mom, like, don't bring your friends around here because everybody's feelings are getting hurt. Well, one more person asks me where Mr. Right is, and they're gonna get punched right in the nose. And it created a lot of pressure because, I'd probably say 98% of my friends from high school and university are either married or have children, and I'm like the single one with no pickney. And when you're African, they expect you to have like popped out 2 by 25. They expect you to have popped out 2 by 25, somehow have a PhD and a master's at the same time, and a husband who comes home every night. And I'm like, I don't know what fairy tale land y'all live in, but this is 2016, and those fairy tales don't exist anymore. So it does kind of create a psychological pressure on you as a woman because you're seeing everybody else doing what, society says a woman's supposed to do. Like, you're supposed to be a mom, you're supposed to be a wife, you're supposed to have the house with, the hardwood floors and the granite countertops and X, Y, and Z. And this year for me has really been about owning where I am and being okay with that, and being unapologetic about it without being confrontational. So it's been a good year. I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot. I've definitely evolved. I will say to my exes, because I know we're going to be talking about exes, who may or may not be listening now, or, once this is a podcast, you should have stuck around for the glow up, because 2017, no, like you're going to be mad at yourself. That's all I got to say. Because this year, this cocoon year, bro, and I'll bust out this cocoon 2017. You're going to be looking at your girl kind of different, but,
Oh, wow.
Don't say I didn't warn you, but, I'm just letting you know. Yeah. So, I'm joking. Kind of, sort of.
What are you?
No. No, you know what? It's funny because somebody asked me about that, and they asked me, like, do you ever, like, go and like your ex's pictures on Instagram, so they like remember you. And there's like a whole bunch of memes about, like, the things you do to make your exes remember, like, how dope your head game is, or like how good your cooking is, and all that other good stuff. First of all, none of my exes need reminders. Number one. Number two, I don't carry my exes into the present. People have a habit of wanting to still be connected to things they should let go. And I was watching, Shannon Boodram actually did a really dope YouTube video about her partner that she lives with in LA. And he was talking about not carrying people's baggage because you have your own. And a lot of times when relationships end, people continue to carry those people with them, whether it's your perception of your next relationship or your perception of the other gender, or just like, low key, high key, lurking to see, is the new chick prettier than me? Is she smarter than me? Does she have, a better curl pattern than me? Because, I'm 4Z and, she had 3C and she got the good curls, whatever the case may be. And that's carrying somebody into your presence. So you're never really letting go of the past and you're actually slowing yourself down from developing forward. And that really resonated with me. And it's funny because I've never really intentionally carried my exes. I'm the kind of person where, like, if it's over, if you're not cool, you blocked. Like, you don't have access to me. I don't want to make the mistake of accidentally sending you like a text message as part of a group text, and now you think that we can be friends and you can slide back in my DMs. I don't even give you those kind of opportunities. When we done, we done. I have follow you on Facebook. It literally is like we were never in a relationship. I was just having a conversation with my sister this morning, and she was like, "So, yada yada yada," and I mentioned one of my exes, and she was like, "Who?" And I was like, "Yeah, girl, that too." And that's how I am. So, yeah, no, to any of my exes who are tuned in or who are listening in, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're, blessed and, living abundantly and fruitfully. I don't care if you do or don't feel some type of way, not because I have beef with you, but whether or not you do or don't feel some type of way, the glow up is happening regardless. I don't bring my exes forward. I ain't worried about y'all, so y'all don't need to worry about me.
I'm going to talk
We
more
good.
about that a little later when we do get more into this X thing or partners, whatever. Because I have a different point of view. I don't know, slightly different, and maybe that's what's messed me up.
You
In
usually
some
do.
cases,
Let it go.
no. What do you
Let
mean?
it go.
Oh, that let it go. Oh, talk about disappointing. I'm sorry. I think I'm the only person on the planet that I watched Frozen the other night and I was underwhelmed. Like it was a cute movie. I liked the characters. It was different. Um maybe it's just too much hype and build up. When you hear about something so much and you hear how great it is, and I'm like, okay, it's Sunday, 8:00. Sit in front of the TV with my daughter who's already watched it and go. And I'm just like, all right.
That's it.
I was like, oh, okay. So I'm waiting for the climax, and it was cool. And no knock to the actors and the animators. It's great. It's not the top Disney animated movie ever made.
I don't
It's
think
not
it's
even in the
like
top.
the
I don't even think
best
it's in the
Disney
top
movie ever.
five.
I just watched
It's not even
Moana
in the top.
and
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
yeah, I
That year
watched
is
that
doing
one. I
very good.
didn't hate it, but I was just like, okay, cool. All right.
And that's been doing good at the box office, like just 2 weeks in a row, top movie. But
I
I'm
mean,
just
I'm
like,
not surprised. Frozen didn't really pop off for me. Like, don't get me wrong, there were some, and I don't like to necessarily say this about Disney movies because it's a children's network, I guess, in a certain sense. Although when you look at what's his name, Orlando Brown,
oh Lord, yes, yes,
whew,
yes.
but when I watched Frozen, first of all, there were some parts of it that I was just like, this isn't about children. Like, this message is not for children. And Disney and Pixar have been really good about bridging conversations for adults into movies as well as for children, so children get what they need out of it and they're entertained. But then there's stuff that like adults can take away and be like, I have
Definitely.
friends just like that. And Elsa's sister. Listen, you can only be dumb as a bag of bricks for so long before I wanna smack you. So
Yeah.
her little boo thing and his moose, that little trifecta right there, and then the little snowman with the nose, that little foursome. Yeah, they were getting the side of the entire movie for me. But I also like watching. I was like, I know 4 people who are just like that, and there's the reason why we're not friends anymore because they kept on asking me questions. I kept on telling them the truth, and then I was the bad guy. So I think that Frozen has some badass moments. I liked when Elsa did her "Let It Go" song. I hated every 5-year-old who became obsessed with it.
I think it was a little too early in the movie, and I didn't get it. I thought this is it. I
I
thought that was
didn't
going to be the climax, like
like
the
the climax.
but
No,
no,
you know what?
but I got it as the
I
film played out. But I just when it started, and my daughter's like, "Oh yeah, everybody knows this one," and I was like, okay, I don't know this one.
Already?
And I was like, oh, this is the one? This is the hit? Like, this is the song I've heard
Yeah,
so
no,
many
listen,
times.
it's only a hit for 5-year-olds because
Oh, wow. What
his
happened?
throat in Eden
Oh.
Center when that movie first came out because I was like, shut up. Okay, I need you to let the song go. I have never been so happy to not work in a daycare anymore and to not be a nanny.
Oh.
But I like I like the fact that Disney is creating female characters that don't need a hero
Hmm.
to save them. I really like the conversation about female empowerment and young women really owning their power, which a lot of movies, whether it's Moana, Frozen, Brave, even The
Hmm.
Princess and the Frog, have really brought to the forefront.
Yeah.
Or even Mulan, and I love the fact that women
Mulan.
are the heroes and the
Hmm.
protagonists in a lot of Disney movies. I don't think that Disney is creating the amazing classics that they created in like the mid 90s to early 2000s when they had movies like Aladdin or The Lion King, and I see them
Yeah.
like creating all these live action movies now, and I'm just like the whole Beauty and the Beast thing, like that got my entire side eye. Like there's some movies you don't need to touch, leave it alone. There was
Hmm.
nothing wrong with Beauty and the Beast. You disrespectful. I don't care that she was in Harry Potter. She needs to expect to persona herself back into her seat and mind her business because you are not Belle, young lady, and you do not hit those notes. Um, sorry, Beauty and the Beast is like one of my favorite Disney movies.
No, classic, yeah. And that's why
But
I can't even
I
put Frozen in the top five. I'm like, does it fit the top 10? I guess
no,
it
you
does in the
can't, you
top 10 for me,
can't.
but I don't know. I just went over it, and not to crush anybody or take away from it. It's just for me. And I can appreciate, like when I first saw Toy Story, which is, yeah, my daughter's like, yeah, Disney
Yeah, Toy
Pixar.
Story didn't do it for me. Toy Story got
Oh
on my
no,
nerves.
that one, it
I
lived
don't
up
like
to
Toy Story.
the
I don't
original.
like
Oh,
cars. What's the
oh,
flying one? Planes. They should all just crash and burn. I don't care. Listen, all your
I
5-year-olds
think
who are
it
mad at
was
me right now.
Cars was cool. Toy Story, bomb. Love that movie. That movie made me cry time and time again. I know. And even the one, what was, oh my God, Up in the Air, Up. I think it's just Up with the balloons and the man in the house and all that good stuff. The old man, great one. I think they've done some good ones lately, but yeah, this one just over. Okay, anyway, we just went all the way with Frozen. But Frozen, and speaking about Frozen, we got some cold now. When people are talking about this is plus degree, plus 10, plus 15 in November and hoo and all that. Um, well, we got it now. Winter has arrived, and I like it though.
Well, the
I like
cold
the winter.
anyway.
Huh?
Well, at least the cold anyway.
You said the line, the line where she says in the song, I didn't mind the cold anyway. I thought that's what you were busting out. I was like, what?
Oh no, no, I said like
Okay.
not me.
Yeah, the
Actually,
cold
you know
is
what?
here, but the snow is
Ironically,
here. You like it?
yeah,
You like Frozen?
no, ironically,
Oh.
about that topic, I was actually having a conversation with a friend of mine about exactly that last night. She said Toy Story was one of her favorite. Like we're talking about Disney
Oh,
things, and I was like, Lion King was one of mine, but was
yeah.
my top Disney one. But she was like, you know what, Toy Story. I said, yeah. While we're talking about Christmas, like, what's your favorite Christmas? Like, it was just silly
Yeah.
conversations. Like, of course, Home Alone is that movie, that Christmas movie. But
Yep.
it's
Oh, Lord.
funny how that it's ironic that or funny how we were alignment. I was having this whole conversation last night. I was like, is this on repeat? You guys tap my phone.
We're back. Yeah, we've been
Yeah.
listening. We're like, Miss
Like, I
Supernerd, we
gotta go check.
lost,
I gotta go check my phone, make sure it's not,
right?
recording.
Got your phone tapped.
I got it
Yep.
too.
What you got to
Sorry, I
But yeah,
don't know what happened. Um,
Well, we
this
see
is this is
some.
what I get for coming for
Yep.
X-Men.
Yeah, they wiring.
Yeah. No, listen,
Mm.
Fox, you're good at making TV
right.
shows.
Stick
Please
to it.
stick to Green Arrow.
Right.
Marvel, don't make TV shows. There should be no, Agents of Shield. Your Agent Carter was trash and
Mm-mm.
disrespectful. I better not hear anything about the Black Widow coming out of Marvel for TV. Everybody needs to stay in their lane. And Hollywood directors and screenwriters, if you do not have an original thought in your head, read more books,
Oh, Lord.
study art, and stop recreating storylines because these remixes to the remixes that y'all
Right.
keep doing
Right.
are trash.
Right.
Fox, I love y'all. Just give the entire Marvel universe back to Disney because they have done no wrong with any of the Marvel movies that they've done so far. And the disrespect that y'all continue to enact on the entire X-Men universe, listen, Bryan Singer, bruh, don't let me catch you on the street. Because I'm fed up. Like Logan, this remix to Wolverine and, Wolverine 2.0, like you've made 4 Wolverine movies and they've all been trash, and he's been from 4 different parts of the world. I don't know what kind of schizophrenic Marvel universe you think this dude comes from, but you got one more time to disrespect my husband. One more time,
Right.
Bryan Singer, before I come for you.
That's exactly what I feel about how they do Punisher, man. It's like, yo, leave Punisher alone if you can't do it right.
Don't listen. You already screwed up when y'all screwed up Storm and didn't let Angela Bassett play Storm.
Right.
I tried to forgive y'all. I really tried. All 3 of the movies that started off the X-Men universe were train wrecks and trash, a waste of budget. I'm glad everybody who worked on these movies got paid. Don't be surprised that they got bootlegged, because nobody should have paid to see them in movie theaters. And then y'all did your little Days of Future Past, and there was like Potential, and then what was this last little trash movie y'all brought out? The whole Batman versus Superman. Like, stop making movies, Fox. Stop it. Stop it right now. Leave the movies to Marvel. You dominate TV. Everybody stays in their lane. Just capitalize on what you're good at and stop generalizing, because y'all getting on my nerves. I will say this, however. I will be in the Fast and Furious movie theater for Fate of the Furious. Because my homegirl Charlize Theron is in it, and whenever there's an African in the movie, I got to co-sign, even if she ain't black. I will be in the Transformers movie. Anybody who came for me about the trailer for Transformers the last night, sit down and shut up. Nobody watches Transformers with the storyline. We all know this. We're just there for Michael Bay to make computer sounds in supersonic and blow stuff up. Nobody ever watches like a Transformers movies and feels like they're gonna have like a quintessential life-shattering, earth-changing epiphany. We know why we're here. Stop looking for the Notebook and Transformers. That's not what these movies are made for. Okay, stop it. It's the same reason why we watch, that movie that Sylvester Stallone wrote where everybody has big muscles and they're blowing up stuff. It's the reason why we watch it on mute. We're here for one thing: blow stuff up.
I can never watch anything on mute. Ever. Sound is so important. It is. I could never sit in front of the television with it on mute. I think
that was so random.
No, she just said that's the reason you watch things on mute, to see the action, and I'm like, not really. I'm not an action. I like action, but there needs. You know what? The score, like music set to action, makes it real for me, right? Yeah.
It's the whole atmosphere, surround sound, is, it's everything. It's, if you're a real avid movie lover.
I know that's not what you meant, Miss Supernerd, but just kind of dragging that a little bit. But sorry, when you're real. Mm-hmm.
No, if you're just a real movie lover and avid goer, you want the full experience. You want even the shaking chairs and the 3D. You know what I mean? Like, you want it all.
I don't know if I need all that though. That makes me dizzy and stuff. They're getting a little too extra at the theaters. Just make the sound the right volume and clear picture. I'm good.
Yes,
and the popcorn. I actually stepped
into
it. Huh?
You're very simple, yeah?
I'm very simple. I'm very basic. I'm very country. As I've been called all that. She'll be back. She'll be back. So TV, I know you guys were so amped about, but I think you guys were, I don't even want to get you started, both of you, on this, the superhero movies that you guys were, or television shows you were looking forward to. So it seems like some were hit and miss kind of thing. Is that what I'm hearing? I
mean, more or less, believe it or not, I didn't really go to that many movies this year. I was too busy. I was too busy, to be honest.
Yeah.
I never got the time, to really sit down and enjoy. And then, the movies I really, really want to see, I only saw about maybe 5 movies this year.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I didn't even get to see that moonlighting. I really, really want to see that moonlighting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was something bad that I never got. Well, that's partially because of a homegirl's fault, but we were supposed to coordinate and she decided to jump on a plane, and then, it just never happened. But
is that Miss Supernerd?
No, I don't know.
Oh.
I don't stand up people.
I don't know, jump on a plane. I don't know.
I mean, I do jump on planes, but that wasn't me.
Yeah, other than
Give
No,
you,
no,
she'll
no.
if
give you
I
a little
commit to leaving
notice.
my house, I'm coming
Yeah.
outside. Like if I say
Yeah.
I'm I mean, let me stop a lie because my friends will call me out.
Mhm. Mhm.
Most of the time, if I say I'm coming out of my house, I probably there's like a 30% chance I'm actually gonna leave my house. Um,
Hmm.
for a good movie, I will come out though. I did see the previews to Moonlight. It looked a little preciousy to me. Like I felt like it was going to like
No,
traumatize
I
me.
really want to see that movie, man. That was like on
No, like I've
my
And
heard
now
dope
with
my.
all
things
the
about it.
nominations, right? Yeah,
Did
it's
it? Did it? It got nominations?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know.
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah,
yes.
dope.
Oh
Or
no,
they
it's
won.
had
Didn't
a
they actually
few.
win? Didn't that or
Yeah,
didn't they
they
actually,
won at the Critics' Choice
yes.
Awards. They've been
Yes.
nominated for Golden Globe. There's
Yes.
Oscar
Was
conversation.
Yeah, I
All
didn't
the
know that,
like
man. Wow.
yeah, yeah.
festivals. Oh yeah, like it's like rave reviews across the board. It's being put in the same category as Fences this year in terms of like epic movies and epic dramas
Mm-hmm.
that are like redefining the movie genre. But
Mm-hmm.
like there are movies that like I see like I've never watched For Color Girls. I've never watched Precious. I've never
Mm-hmm.
watched Django.
What? You never watched Precious?
I've
What?
I know I've never watched 12 Years a Slave.
Another good movie.
Um, what else have I
I've
not
watched all
watched?
of those and they were
There's a
good.
few
I like
movies that I've never had any desire to watch, not because I don't believe in the talent of the directors and the creative staff or the talent on screen, but because I like not going to jail. And the last, no, I'm just gonna be
what am
very
I
honest.
sparking you? Is this
Um,
what we're
Listen, Django and 12 Years a Slave would have had me catching smooth assault charges, like
No,
no word of a
it
lie.
wouldn't.
That
You'd just be like
Um,
pumping
was
fit.
that
You'd
yes,
just
movie,
be
man.
yes,
laughing.
no,
Django.
no,
It was
Django was that
no,
movie.
because
Trust
you
me.
I've
have
watched it like
to,
10 times.
Yeah,
It's
you have
Django
to
was that movie.
understand, you
I
have to
know where you're
understand that, like,
coming
I
from.
grew up,
I
yeah,
know.
like I grew up like apartheid South Africa.
Yeah.
Like there are certain things that we just don't like. The last movie that I watched that made me feel some type like I didn't leave my house for like a good 4 days. Like I called in sick to school and my mother didn't even question it. Was Cry Freedom.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And
Well,
Vitica.
that one, yeah,
listen,
Rose
yeah.
Wood.
I went back
Yeah.
to school and my teachers knew what time it was. Like my mother
Mhm,
literally like wrote a note and she was like, "Listen,
mhm,
my daughter watched Cry Freedom this week. This is
mhm.
why she has not been to school on Monday and Tuesday. I suggest that if
Watch
there's any
out.
disciplinary measures you want to take, you might want to do it next month."
Right?
And today's the fifth. So I'm just trying to help you help
Mhm,
yourself.
mhm,
Because first of all, she got a mouth on her, and second of all, she got her daddy's temper. Let's just not, because I ain't coming down there to save y'all.
mhm.
So when I realized I'm one of those people like they say that a great movie allows somebody to really, immerse themselves and have a suspension of belief where they be like they're in the movie and they live the movie. I'm one of those kids where if I read a book or if I watch a movie, it's real. That's why I
Oh,
can't watch
yeah.
horror movies
Yeah.
because the monster's coming for me. It ain't come for the stupid, Caucasian girl who ran up and hid in the closet on the third floor. No, it's coming for Yolanda. And Yolanda's the first person to die in the movie because she's black. So we just not gonna do those things. But I can't watch Django and like make polite conversation afterwards. Like we're not gonna talk about like, the existential crisis and the evolution of the character because I want to evolve my foot up your behind. So
No,
let's
no, no. What
not.
But
Django
you
was
be
that
talking
dude.
about
That was
Samuel L.
that
No,
dude,
Jackson
man.
and just how much jokes like that
no,
man, that character. I hated him,
no.
but I laughed at that shit. Like I thought it was
Yeah,
like,
that's what
Uh-uh.
I'm
and it
saying.
was
It's like
it
that's
was
typical
like
what it was.
it was. Have you watched oh my gosh, what's the one in the same comparable Nazi um Hitler with
The bastards. The bastards.
yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Bastard. Oh
No.
my gosh, did you watch that one? No? Okay. I was
Glorious
gonna say
Bastards. No, with Brad Pitt. No, I did
yes,
not.
Glory. Oh, I love that too. Like I'll watch it
Yeah, I love
No.
on
that
TV,
movie
both of
too.
them. And I
So
Uh-uh.
kind of they feel the same to me about,
yeah, that's exactly what it was.
history
You
and
nailed it
yeah,
right on head. It was
yeah,
one of
yeah.
those movies
No,
that
I'm no. All of my exes will tell
It was
you
yes.
that we have a conversation. Don't take me to no horror movies. The last ex who tried to take me to a horror movie, I kicked the patron in front of me in the head. And it was like a knee jerk reaction. It wasn't intentional, but like, the monster was coming at the screen. It was 3D. And like my foot was like, we ain't going to die today. And I looked at homeboy who I kicked in the head. He thought it was hilarious. Thank you, homeboy, at Cineplex Odeon,
Oh God.
for not, pressing charges or coming for my soul. I appreciate you. And I ended that relationship with my ex because I warned him. I told him, we literally had a conversation. I was like, listen, there's some things I just don't do. A, because it makes me uncomfortable. And B, I'm going to blame you if you make me do this. Don't tell me, oh, I'm a big, strong man. I'm going to hold you down. I will clavicle chop you in order for me to live. I don't care that we're in your living room. This was Michael Jackson's Thriller. You turn into a werewolf, you got to go. There better not be any sharp objects, no baseball bats, no shotguns, no like crossbows. Like you won't die. Like your mother better have a black dress and you better know what flowers you want in your casket because everybody got to go. I'm not dying for y'all. So if I tell you we're not doing this, let's not do this. For your sake, for my sake, for the sake of us being able to cuddle in the wintertime, don't do this to yourself. So I don't care how big you are. I don't care how much you bench press. I don't care. You know, you could be, listen, you could be Iron Man. You could be Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Don't put me in front of a horror movie. Listen, there are Disney movies that make me uncomfortable. So why would you take me to Jeepers Creepers? Why would you do that? Why? Why? No. So that's not going to happen. Number two, I am hypersensitive about racial conversations. So I don't care if it's a comedy because I'm the only person not laughing. Like there's no
really a comedy either. I wouldn't describe it as a comedy.
Yeah, there's no kiki, there's no tee, there's no.
No, but you gotta sit down and watch that for yourself in Supernerd because you know what?
But she doesn't because it's not her thing. So
Hear what? Because it's not that movie that you think because you gotta remember he becomes that dude that. You know what he becomes the
I don't care if he is the last man on the planet and he saves every slave and slavery never happened because of Django.
That dude that every slave wanted to be. It's a super slave.
Super slave. Listen, I'm still mad about Training Day. Not because I didn't think that Denzel's performance was epic, not because I didn't think it was an amazing movie, because it was such a well-written and well-nuanced movie. And every person in that movie, you know, like they played their part. To me, Training Day was a magnum opus for Antoine Fuqua because everybody played their notes perfectly and it was a beautiful symphony. Here's my beef with Training Day. I watched it. I lived in LA. I lived on Crenshaw on 8th off of Hyde Park. I had a Crip put a gun to my face 2 weeks after moving to LA because I was wearing the wrong colors. I had a pimp ask me to do his bookkeeping. I've lived on Crenshaw Boulevard. I was supposed to go to Crenshaw High School. So like when I was watching it, it wasn't like I was like, oh, this is a movie. I was like, oh, I remember that corner. I know where that swap meet is. Like it was real for me. But my beef with Training Day was I'm hypersensitive to of Black people in movies. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter if it's a cartoon, doesn't matter. So if there's a negative connotation or if there is a submissive or a pervasive racist connotation to any movie, guaranteed, if I watch it and I didn't know, cool, because I didn't see it coming. But if I know from the trailer that this is a slave movie, just don't put me in the movie theater. Don't pull out the DVD. Don't put it on the Amazon Fire Stick. I like feel-good movies. Just give me the happy-go-lucky. You want Martin Lawrence to blow up something? Bad Boys 3, yes, I'll sign up for it. The minute that you put a whip and Black people, and it ain't got nothing to do with the rodeo, you still may have a problem. There is no like no balance for me. Like, oh, you know, like I'm still mad about Color Purple. Still mad. Yeah. Still mad about Color Purple. I've watched it like 75 times. Glory.
Yeah, Glory, come on. That was a
that one tear, like me and Denzel, we still going through that together. Me and my therapist still working on that one tear. So like there is some movies where I'm just like
awful scene.
Yeah, so there are just like some things that I just don't do. And I made a decision, and I think we had this conversation on a previous show where we were talking about, you know, investing in narratives and, you know, the importance of, you know, recognizing parts of history. We were talking about Birth of a Nation, and we were talking about, you know, the importance of that story and the story that Nate Parker was telling and how it was important to talk about the slave revolution with Nat Turner and all that good stuff. And I said I wasn't going to watch Birth of a Nation, not because I didn't think it was an important story to be told, not because I didn't support it, not even because of Nate Parker and his entire situation that came out during Birth of a Nation. I didn't want to watch it because it was a slave movie. That was the only reason why I had no interest in co-signing it. Because I don't care that the revolution happened. Well, I do care because it was important. What it took to get to the revolution, like all the misogyny, the patriarchy, the racism, you know, all of that to get to like that, like last 45 minutes when things pop off and guns are going off and, you know, that like 60 minutes leading up to that last 45 in the movie theater. Like I'm smacking everybody upside the head who doesn't have enough melanin in their skin. It's a visceral reaction, and I just don't want to be in that place. I don't feed into that energy. I don't want to co-sign it. It's not that I'm oblivious. It's not that I'm willfully ignorant. I am hyper aware. The joke is I won't watch a movie, but I'll watch a documentary. I can literally do like 8 hours of documentaries on slavery. Don't give me like a blockbuster movie. I'm not paying Cineplex Odeon to go see that. Yeah, I don't care who did the makeup. I don't care who did the cornrows. I don't care who made the gingham skirt. Like, we're not doing it. No, no, thank you. I'll pass. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No,
You know, it's really
no,
funny.
not
My
gonna happen.
and I have a slightly different. I have slightly different things. Like, you know what? As long as they have black character cast, I go. Listen, if I'm gonna watch Marvel or X-Men, I'm paying. What's it called again? 12 Days a Slave, or I'm buying that ticket and going watching X-Men. Like, I support those black movies. Like, whatever movie coming out, I give the money. I give the money to the black movie, and I go watch the white movie.
Ooh, that's not good.
No, what do you mean it's not good? And damn,
It
it's
is. It is
good.
what it is. But like, that's just me. Like, I don't do slave
I'm
movies.
sorry.
I don't do horror movies. I don't do certain thriller movies. Like, I've never watched Saw. Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2. I watched it when it was on DVD, and my sisters literally had to like fast forward it on DVD so I could see like when all the things popped off, and then we watched it like regular time. I don't do horror movies. My siblings know this. Like, it's
See, I'm not a
no.
big horror fan. Okay, there are different types of horror, right? And the ones that are um like silly horror to me, like they're just silly. They're just crazy. It's just like
Scary
that
movie.
does not happen, won't ever happen. No, scary. Those are funny, like
Yeah,
comedy. So I
yeah.
just, but like there's one that is actually supposed to be scary. I'm like, yeah, right. You know what I mean? And it's just a
No,
waste
but
of my time. And it
they
can't.
haven't made a real horror movie since flipping what's the Exorcist Snowman. Like all that.
Okay, and then there
Those,
are
There was the
those are real.
haunting of
real.
like, or the exorcism of like Emily Rose or like Omen.
Yeah.
Any of those. Listen, I don't want nobody possessed by no demon. I want nothing coming out of nobody's
But
TV.
even those, they
Don't
don't
come
really
out.
affect me because I don't
They
No,
affect
like
me.
Exorcist.
they might
Man,
be real, but
shit,
they're
man.
not real to
Watch
me.
it.
But what to me is horror is like Silence of the Lambs, like shit that actually
No, those are
happens, like
thrillers. Those are
based on
I
yeah,
actually
like
like Silence of the Lambs,
yeah.
and my
love.
mother
I
also
read
made me
all the
watch that when I was in the
books.
6th grade.
I
Those are
read the
called
books.
horror.
I've
Those are
watched.
thrillers.
No, like I could be upside, like beside a van, and someone just knocks me out, drags me, and I end up in a pit in the ground in someone's basement. That's real. Like that stuff happens.
That's
That's
valid.
horror
That's
to
valid.
me.
But I mean, there's a few people in Haiti and in Nigeria
Oh
and in
God.
the Louisiana bayou who could tell you that a few of those things that have come out of Jeepers Creepers have probably popped out of a swamp or a bayou somewhere. I don't discredit
I
anything
know, but I'm
that
not near
that
those
shows up on
things.
TV. My whole thing is, so the joke is, and here's the funny thing. Everybody knows when something's about to pop off in a horror movie. It's not like it's a surprise. Like, the lighting changes. There's always that music. Like, there's always, something always changes in a horror movie. Like, there's literally like a good 30 to 60-second cue when you know that it's about to get real.
Mhm.
Everybody knows this. It is not a surprise. Entire movie scores, Jaws, Silence of the Lambs, The Shining, It, Candyman, all of those have like won Oscars and Grammys for the soundtracks, for that music when Ish is about to go off and the monster's about to get everybody. Freddy versus Jason, all of them. Listen, I don't want the lighting to change. I don't want the music to change. Just keep on skipping through Fields
You're
of
just a
Daisies and
punk.
just let it pop off. Like, I'm a punk. Like, I've never lied to anybody. Like, and it's funny because like anybody who's met me is like, you're so petty and your mouth is so savage. How are you a punk about horror movies? I'm like, bro,
Right? That's
we all have an
our
Achilles
thing.
heel. Okay,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
all have that one like.
Here it is.
L-
One day we're gonna just
Listen,
tie it down.
if I didn't
Yeah.
have this weakness,
Run the
I'd be
horror
a
and slavery
god.
movies.
And
Mhm.
my weakness is slavery movies, horror
Oh
movies, and certain
gosh.
thrillers, and even Disney movies. Like, the first time that like Mufasa, whatchamacallit, when Scar killed Mufasa, like that one moment
Oh
where like he
gosh,
put the
yeah.
claws in, I
Mm.
actually jumped. Like, my heart leapt out. I was like, oh,
Evil. That's
oh,
evil. That's
oh.
real. That's real
Like,
life.
I felt some
But
type
you
of
know,
way.
for me,
I
I think I said this on a previous show, but for me, when I was a child and there were certain books we had to read through school, or books I chose to read on slavery. And um, me and my girlfriend to this day joke about some of the characters, not joke, but like just some of the characters, because we used to, yeah, just some of the things that they would say, as children, they were child characters. And so we just thought they were silly and the innocence of children,
Mhm,
but it wasn't that deep with us back then. It was just like, how could they say these things when they were slaves? Like, so we didn't get it. But
mhm.
I think so I would read these books, and then I would be like, couldn't sleep at night, like my eyes were open, because I'm like, I don't know what it was, but like if people like, my girlfriend knows how to mess with me. She either says like, starts talking like some slave talk to me, which I know sounds so ignorant, but she'll get into it. And if she says that, like, people know, don't talk to me like that late at night, before I have to go to bed, because then it just all these images that it's hard for me to sleep. Or she'll be like, Clarice, like she'll just do like the, what's it called, voice.
Oh, she
Now,
goes,
yeah, either one of them, and she messes with me, and that's how she
I've
used to
been
get me.
waiting for you.
But you know what? With the slavery, like anything to do with history, like our history, that even through hard times, I I feel like I have to. It's part of me. Not taking on some of the pain, but me, like for me to take comfort in knowing that I don't have to witness it, I don't have to think about it, I don't have to, which I know that's not what you're saying, but and I don't have to endure it in any way, shape, or form. By like, I obviously can't live it, but I don't have to view it, even though we're going through our own thing right now, still to this day,
Mm-hmm.
as Black people. But just being able to close the book or stop the movie or whatever, I find it's almost disrespectful to our ancestors who lived through it. And I know that's just me. I'm not saying anybody else should feel that way. And maybe I'm crazy to feel that way, but I feel like it's almost, and it's not satisfying. Like, okay, now I read it. So now I've seen with you, and now, okay, turn up time. Like, it's not like I've done my part now, you know what I mean? Just
Mm-hmm.
by bawling about a certain scene. But there were, especially with Book of Negroes, I read that just a couple years ago, and I read that in a few days, and it was there were times where I closed the book. I couldn't even read because my eyes were just too full, and it was pointless. I couldn't see it, and I was like, whoa. And it was like hard, but I opened it up again, and it was like, we have to um live it. Now, I get what other people say. Who's telling the story? How are they spinning the story? What are they
Mm-hmm.
leaving out of the story? And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there are many other stories that need to be told. And
Mm-hmm.
I always say, I've had this discussion with other people, that things are documented, because there were people who went and saw what they saw and know
Mm-hmm.
what they saw and documented it somehow, but and about the greatness that they saw,
Mm-hmm.
and all the genius, and just everything, how our people were living, and what they
Mm-hmm.
built, what they created, what they were able to teach them. And I'm sure it was the same experience with the natives when they came to their land. And it's documented, it's known, but it's not going to be told. And it's never going to be told the
Mm-hmm.
way it should be, even if it is. So I know that's the bigger issue for a lot of people who refuse to put money into these films that continue to just remind us that, hey, this is where you come from. Don't ever forget it, in a twisted way. You know
And
what
I
I mean?
think
I get
that's
that.
probably why I'm more invested in documentaries. And even then, I still
Yeah.
take those with a grain of salt.
Hmm.
But I think that there is an academic reverence to documentaries where, for a lot of documentary makers, and not all, but for a lot of documentary makers, there is an onus to be as authentic and as respectful to the history and the process and the pain that any group has gone through, whether it be, Holocaust survivors, people, the Japanese who are in internment camps in the United States, Native Americans, African Americans going through slavery, the people in the Caribbean going through slavery, the Maori, the Samoan people. Like, there's so many stories
Yeah.
that need to be told. I'm not a fan of glorifying the pain. And I think that that's where my issue is, because
Mm.
with some movies, it's not about honoring the legacy or making an impact that redefines how we have conversations. It's simply about, how gruesome can this be so that we can get the biggest paycheck
True.
off of these sound bites, off of these images. And that's why I don't tend to invest in the cinema version of stories and I'm more likely to deviate, and maybe the sapiosexual and the nerd in me, where I really want to understand the history and the sociology and the psychology behind everything that happens. So I'm very anthropological when I look at historic events as opposed to sensationalizing it. And I think that with any Hollywood blockbuster, especially when it's funded and, there's a requirement for this movie to, recoup the cost and then make a profit, there are things that are taken out of context in order to get people through the doors. And so that's where I'm not a fan of investing in that, because I still find that there's a level of disrespect to the people who went through that, whether it's Schindler's List, which was, a beautifully written movie that won a lot of awards. And that was very impactful. There's a new movie about the Holocaust called The Zookeeper's Wife, and I saw the trailer for it, and I thought, this is an interesting, perspective, because there've been movies like Schindler's List or Anne Frank that, talk about, harboring, Polish Jews and, German Jews from, going to, concentration camps and things of that nature. Even like X-Men touches on that, because that's how Magneto discovered his power. Nerd moment. But there's a sensational aspect to it. There's a necessity to overinflate it. And I'm extremely sensitive, not only to my reactions, but to the reactions of people who have family members who have gone through that, and to how movies like this open up those scars. And in some cases, yes, it's closure, and, it's validation, and, there's all this positive aspect, but I'm always hypersensitive to the negative impact and to the reliving of that trauma over and over and over again, especially when it's advertised. This is the 25th anniversary remastered Schindler's List. And I'm like, this is, Fox, or Warner Brothers, remaking or, cleaning up the visuals and the audio for this movie so that they can make more checks. But this is somebody's grandmother going through the horror of those 6 years in Auschwitz all over again. And she doesn't get to get the prettier version. There is no check that will make this okay. And so I'm sensitive to that. And because I'm so sensitive to it, I choose not to engage in that. And I would rather the story be told by people who would tell the story as honestly and as authentically as possible, even if there wasn't a check. So the commercialization of that pain is where I'm averse to it. The horror movie piece, I'm just a punk. Like listen, I Jeepers Creepers, the dude was licking windows and flying out of holes. Whatever pain happened there, that was some sick and twisted, person's imagination. Same thing with Saw, or Caterpillar, where homeboy had everybody eating each other's booties, that kind of stuff. I just don't want to be exposed to that level of crazy. The joke is, I love Silence of the Lambs because I love psychology. I love figuring out how people tick. So my mother looks at me, she goes, "So you're not going to watch The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and your godmother is a nun, but you want to watch Silence of the Lambs for the 75th time?" And I'm like, yeah, because I really want to understand this level of crazy. I want to know what makes you sit there and cut open a man's head and eat his brains while he's still alive. What is going through your head? How do you function? What made you this person? What does that feel like to you? As opposed to, there's this uncontrollable, undefinable thing that's got this chick climbing up walls and snatching hearts out of people's chests. Let's not do that. It might be a control thing. It might be a logic thing, because I want to understand everything, and that can't be explained. I'm just not going to watch horror movies. That's just the takeaway. So fellas, if you're asking me out on a date, if you're trying to make me bae, if you want a relationship with me to last, you better not take me to a horror movie. That's how you get your feelings hurt.
Okay.
I've blocked
y'all
people.
heard that. Just want to shout out one of our listeners actually posts on the page. Superman Jones, welcome if you're still listening in. He did post. I can't see what time people post, but I actually did post right after welcoming him. And also I did post the link if you want to jump in, join the conversation at any time. Just make sure you have Google Hangouts and click that link right there on the YouTube page where you're listening to the show to join. Just saw this pop up on my phone about 15, 20 minutes ago, but rest in peace to Canadian actor Alan Thicke, who was
Robin Thicke's daddy died? No.
Yeah. Alan Thicke, Growing
2016
Pains.
is no, he ain't dead. That's a hoax.
Oh
That's
my
BS.
gosh,
I
you
don't
guys.
believe it. I want to see the death
Okay,
certificate. No,
I don't even want to tell you guys who reported it, but
no,
Entertainment Tonight has confirmed it. TMZ put it out there. Entertainment
no,
Tonight confirmed it. Entertainment Tonight
no.
knows
So
everything.
2000, if that is true, 2016 is not playing.
Listen, and he
This
died to
at
listen.
69? No, that's
Listen,
disrespectful. I can't.
69. He was just his last tweet was 4 hours ago, if he does it himself, about Fuller House, the remake of Full House, the sitcom. I don't know, 80s, 90s or late 80s, whenever it was on. And he commented, he tweeted about that 4 hours ago, it says on Twitter. Because he was playing hockey with his son Carter and had a heart attack. So
That's disrespectful. Like 2016,
yeah,
like
his younger son. I'm thinking that's his youngest son with
yeah,
his
he had a TV
current wife,
show in the thick of it,
the
I think it was, because
reality,
he
the reality.
remarried. Yeah.
Yeah, with
That's
his
so listen, okay, I need
super
somebody to go as
sad.
Saran Wrap, Stevie Wonder, Patti LaBelle and her pies, Aretha Franklin. Like y'all think it's a joke,
They still
Cicely
haven't done
Tyson.
it. They
Text
still haven't done it.
Sade that I'm okay.
All right.
I need everybody
Text
Saran
Sade.
Wrapped.
Oh my.
Listen, no, listen,
I,
Sade's golden. Sade, Naomi Campbell, I'm not worried about them. Like, I'm worried about, like, Patti LaBelle and her diabetes pies. Like, I need somebody to check her blood pressure right now. I need somebody to make sure Aretha is still breathing. I need somebody to make sure Stevie is still going to be around. Listen, 2016 has been disrespectful. I gave up on 2016 when it came for Prince, and I've never forgiven 2016 ever since. And I'm
that's what
sick
I'm
and tired of these
saying. And
shenanigans.
now
I'm
here's
sick and
another
tired.
one. You know how many people love this
No.
man, and he just represents just a nice, calm, just cool actor, just low key, but still had that. Well, yeah, a reminder. I mean, every time I look at this, I hate to take other people's lives and death as a reminder, but it does remind me. 69, 69. That's way
That's,
young in this day and age. That's
I was going to
No,
say
but
something
And
shady, but
he was just at a film festival in Whistler, December 2nd. So you know what? I could say he made it. He didn't say, "Oh, I'll go next year." You know what I mean? And that's I think a message. It's we can't put off till tomorrow what you got to do today. I kind of put some
listen,
remix on it, but
I can't. I cannot
oh,
with
gee.
the shenanigans. Willy Wonka died on me this year.
Huh?
Prince gonna go die
Oh,
on
right,
me. Yes, Gene
No, I
Wilder.
know Gene.
Yes.
I was like Willy Wonka. He can't die, but yeah, Gene Wilder.
David
Yeah,
Bowie died on me. Like Tony Burton died on me. Alan
really.
Rickman. Like Harry Potter was desecrated this year. Like how dare Snape die on me? And nobody give you permission to just clock
There
out.
was someone else
Like
recently.
I
Oh my
just
gosh, I think it was. Were they in the middle of filming? Okay, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna figure out who
Muhammad
that.
Ali died on me this year.
Yeah, that was
Like
one.
Florence Henderson died on me.
Yeah, the other day, like she was just another, like the familiar face that just kind of just remained what that symbol, right? So,
my,
um,
my 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 childhood playlist is just been off, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like
I just, Nancy Reagan, may she rest in peace.
that
Alan
like
Rickman
that
died.
people over
What's his
90,
name?
I kind of get it. Like I'm like, okay, 90,
I think the one that made me saddest was Anton Yelchin. For those of y'all who are confused about who that was,
yeah, yeah.
Star Trek Into the Darkness. That one was heartbreaking because his mother watched him die.
The young one behind his truck in his driveway.
Yes,
That
who was
young
pinned
guy.
by his
Oh,
car.
yeah.
That was
That's
heartbreaking for me because literally
yeah.
his career was taking off.
Just start.
He was
Yeah,
he was known as such a sweet person, and for a parent to watch their
yeah. No.
child
Mm-mm.
struggle and
And you
be
can't do
able to
anything.
do absolutely nothing, like
Mm-mm.
that one I was just like, I'm not the kind of person to get caught up, and I've never been like a stand for anybody. But
But that was real. That's a real
this
life moment,
I was
right?
like, when people are older, you can be like, okay, they live their lives, and like if somebody's like 92, you're just like, well, you had a good life. But when somebody's like 24, it's like Paul Walker all over again with the Fast and the Furious, where
Oh,
1 minute you're
his
filming,
anniversary. Oh,
or
yeah.
yeah, 1 minute you're doing a charity event, and the next minute your daughter's watching your car go up in flames, and it's just like some things like
Just don't
there's
believe.
it's so senseless and it's so sad.
Yeah.
And I'm not the kind of person to wish death on people, but there are some people who should not have made it to like summer 2016, let alone Christmas 2016. I don't care what nobody says. You can come for me if you want. But there are a few
She
people
doesn't
who
mean
shouldn't
it.
have made it. Oh yes, I do. There are a few people who should not have made it to Crima 2016. There's a couple of police officers. There's a couple of serial killers. There's a
Okay.
couple of politicians who you're not necessary. Like nothing that you've done in 2016 has benefited or blessed anybody. Like there is no positivity that you imparted to humanity as a whole in 2016.
So
Why are you still here? Why are you still
imagine
here?
that, like life, if every year of your life you had to do something that would impact the world or make the world a better place. And if you did not complete that task by like December 26th, I was going to say 5th, then you are not going to enter the next year. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Like I feel like that is not bad karma because there are some people who just bruh, like
That'd be a lot of
you're still
people
here? Like really? You
left
still around?
behind.
Because it's not hard to be no, because the reality is it's not hard to be a good person. It takes far more effort for you to be vindictive and manipulative and like just toxic than it does for you to just be a nice person because
True.
it doesn't take much to change the world. Because small acts of kindness have a ripple effect. Not only because you're, impacting an individual positively, whether it's, paying for, a homeless person's food or, giving up a jacket or taking off your shoes, whatever it is, or just
Holding
telling
the
somebody
door
that they
open for
look,
me. Hello. Yeah.
yeah, or just telling somebody that they look nice. But when you do that, like I remember the movie Pay It Forward with Haley Joel Osment and Kevin Spacey, I think it was. There was a line in that movie where it said, it doesn't have to be a big thing, but it's the little things that change the world. Because
That's so
we
true.
watched each other. And, when you continue to see people going out of their way to look for the positive, to help somebody else have a better day or a better moment or a better 5 minutes, it inspires you to pay it forward, even if it wasn't being imparted on you. If I see somebody being nice, it's a reminder to me that I don't exist on this planet by myself. But there are people who are so self-centered and so narcissistic. I'm like, why are you still here?
Mm.
Why? I'm trying to understand, like, why? The only takeaway though was like, what is the definition of a nice thing? What's the definition of a bad thing? Because that's when it gets like real iffy. But I mean, if I'm not making those decisions, I really don't care. I just need to make sure that I'm good with what I do before I clock out. But there are a few people that like I look at the news and I'm like,
Yeah, who
Right?
cares? No, but you know what? And in the same breath, in the same token, on the other side of it, if I can jump in here, is
Hmm.
that there's some that wow, and they never got no publicity at all. Like Bernie Worrell, you know what I mean? It's like, how did he not get like the accolades of? And y'all know who Bernie Worrell is, right?
yeah.
Right, founding member of the of Parliament Funk. You know what I mean? Funkadelic. And like Ron Glass,
Yeah, no,
from
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Bernie, like from what was it? What is it? Bernie? What was that show?
Yeah, I know
Barney
what you're talking
Miller.
about.
Barney Miller. I
Barney,
grew up.
Mm-hmm.
Barney,
Yeah,
Barney.
I grew up on that show. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and they didn't get no play. Like, and then well, Fife got play though. You know what I mean? He got some respect.
Hello,
And then
yeah. Yeah.
what's my jazz guy there? The jazz dude.
The voice of Bugs Bunny died this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep. That, to like
Who was that
2016, so
jazz dude?
disrespectful.
Oh, what's his
He's
name?
still on the jazz dude. Oh,
Yeah, man.
no, I don't know. Sorry, I thought I
You
knew,
tried
Um,
it. You're like,
but
no.
I'm like, no, I don't think he's gone. I was about to kill,
Billy Paul, me and Mrs. Jones. Like, that song.
me and Jones
Me and
Marvin
Mrs.
Gaye?
got a
Jones.
good thing
No,
or
yeah,
something.
Billy Paul.
Whoever he
That was
is.
not Billy Paul.
We need someone to do,
Yeah.
okay,
Me and Mrs. Jones is Marvin Gaye.
No, but you know what?
every,
It went,
what do you call it? Every version? Maybe there was, no, I
yeah,
think there
that's what I'm
was,
saying. Yeah, I think he was the
Everybody had a
original. I don't
remix.
remember something like that. But you know what? That is like that. Me and Mrs. Jones. Like it was. You know what I mean?
Billy Paul.
Is it Billy
That is
Paul?
Billy Paul. Isn't that what you're
Yeah,
saying? Billy Paul.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Billy Paul. Yeah, exactly.
that's his
Yeah,
name.
yeah. I'm like,
And
come on, come on, man. I
He
mean, not
died
that
like I
man's
guess
name straight, but
April. I think in April. Okay.
was it okay? Yeah, me and Mr. Jones, the old school time
We
one, man.
got
You know,
uh,
yeah, man. Like
uh.
there was some people that didn't get real play that should have got some play. I mean, babies were made to that song.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah,
of
Happy
us were
Homes
born to
also
that
were
song.
also desecrated to that song because Mrs. Jones had a husband and she was not living with her husband
Right.
when she had her thing going on. So Mrs. Jones was disrespectful. Mrs. Jones was a hussy,
Which
and
leads us
Billy and
to
Marvin were home wrecking messy dudes. Just
one of
the original F boys.
one of our topics about now I know I
That's
made the
disrespectful,
question
man.
about I made the question about criminal background checks.
Yeah.
But what?
No, I'm just like that. The man's in his grave turning right now.
And you talk about the beauty of a song of babies and she just no, here's the real. Let's not overlook this.
No.
But
See, sexual healing is a song you can talk about babies being made too. Ribbon in the Sky, babies being made to. My Sharia Moore, babies. I Was Made to Love You, Gerald Levert, babies being made to love. But me and Mrs. Jones was about adultery.
Yeah, but yo,
So
yeah,
if you was made to me and Mrs. Jones, you need to ask your daddy if you're really your pappy.
yo, stop this.
So
That's what I
I'm
said.
just
I said,
saying.
yo, I just said babies were made to. I didn't say it was right.
right?
Listen,
Yo, that
Marvin
yo,
Gaye and Billy
listen.
Paul are the reason that Maury's still in business. Me and
Oh
Mrs. Jones.
Lord.
Anyway,
So
background
yes,
checks.
that
Oh no,
so one of the
that's
topics I
not
posted,
even right.
inspired by Miss Kenya Moore,
She get on my nerves.
former Miss or Mrs. Yeah, I could imagine she would. America. She appears on, of course, The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and she was dating a dude, Matt Jordan or something like that. Anyway, they were dating for a minute, and it has come out. I've been missing some shows. Actually, see, Housewives was on at the same time as Frozen, and I said, okay, let's do Frozen. And I couldn't flip flop because the commercials with Frozen were actually done by a retailer, and they were like it was like mini acts in between during the commercial breaks that featured Chrissy Teigen and what's her man's name again? John Legend. Her husband.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to do it the other way around, but so yeah, I kind of missed Housewives. But apparently, all this. He has a background. He has a criminal background. They say he's been in a lot of trouble, and I think it all has to do with a temper of his, and he kind of acts out on his temper. And she's accusing him of busting in some windows or garage windows or something like that on her new more manor or whatever she calls her house, um, and and other things. And so TMZ and some other people have jumped on it and posting, "Ooh, this man's been arrested 4 times," and they list the reasons why, and it made
Mm-hmm.
me think. And I've seen these things pop up, do criminal background checks on it, which is tied a lot to online dating. So you're meeting these random people from places you've never been, or just
Mm-hmm.
people not connected to anybody and it's like, how do you really know about a person? And even people that you meet, because Lord knows I probably should have run one on someone of within the last 5 years or so, because it's crazy, and it came out after the fact. But it would have been good to know. And some, I always had a little funny feeling, and yeah, that things were confirmed after in my mind. But how many people do it? And I mean, is it even possible? Is it even possible to run a check? Or even if you don't do it like an
No, not
official
in Canada.
background check. Yeah, even if you don't do an official
Yes, you can.
background
Well,
check,
It's
you
called
need their consent.
Spokio.
It's called a C-pick, and you need their consent to
you can
write
do your
down
own.
authentic.
It's called Spokio for $9.99. If it is public knowledge, you just need to put up your credit card and everybody's business on Front Street. And that ain't got nothing to do with consent, because if it is in the court of law and it is public record, anybody and everybody
And in
got
the
access.
courthouses, if you go any given day
For
and
the
Mm-hmm.
record,
you
that's
look
right.
at the
I
list,
will.
you'll
Yeah.
see, Queen whatever or Canada versus, and they tell
Mm.
you who and why and
Yeah.
what.
Yeah.
And you can sit in, as
The
I'm sure you
people
know, you can sit in
versus.
court. That's it. And I sat and watched a rape case once, and I was like, oh my God, it's real. And he looked like a real guy and a good looking guy. And it was like, I think it was a date rape scenario. And I was too young to even understand it. And we were just like, but it was a good lesson. And we just walked in on a day off of school, and we were in middle school, I think. Middle school, high school, something like, no, middle school. But anyway, so yeah, once you do something
You
wrong in the
deviated
public
so bad,
eye,
like you just
like
went off.
right, be like, but my mother doesn't listen to the podcast. But no, but it was actually a day off of school. We said we were going to the courts to learn something. So
Actually, one of the best things you ever can do is bring your child to court when they're
yeah,
young. Oh, man. It's really good. Real talk.
yeah,
I think it depends on what court case you bring them to. Like you have to be like careful because you also
Yeah,
don't want
well,
to either
of course you're the
traumatize
guidance
or
on them.
trigger some foolishness.
inspire them, be like theft on their, huh? You got a bike for free, for real, that you rode for a whole month before you
Mm,
got busted? I could do that.
about
No,
that.
um,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah.
but I think with your presence and you being able to
Hmm.
talk through it, I think, yeah, it is.
Hmm.
It could be a teaching moment. So I think that's a
I,
good
I think
point to
everything is a
make.
teachable, but I'm also kind of sensitive to like, I guess
You
level of
sensitive
maturity
to
and comprehension. Like there's like age ranges to everything.
definitely,
Um, but
definitely.
so going back to like the criminal record thing.
Yes. Okay.
So
Have any of you ever thoroughly checked anybody you dated
Nope.
or before you dated somebody?
I don't
No?
think dudes check females as much as females check dudes.
Mm.
Because I don't think like there's like a general public perception that like women are like serial criminals or like
Gonna
no
slice your
like
thing off.
when you think of like serial killer, when you think of bank robber, when you think of like like mass murder, like you don't think like
Yeah.
woman, you're like thinking dude. When you think serial killer, you're thinking Caucasian man. Let's just be real, like Caucasians think it, Indian people think it, Mexican people think it, Black people think it. So let's not pretend. I
We
mean,
all
like
know
when
it.
the DC sniper came out, like everybody was like, "Wait, who's black?"
What? Exactly.
Like that's not
No.
blackface. Like he black. Like he uses like blue magic black. Oh, he black for real. Like that was everybody's reaction because like the standard profile. Like you watch shows like Criminal Minds or Law and Order SVU or Criminal Intent. Like the profile is always like young Caucasian man. Antisocial, stays to himself, probably got abused as a child and had like a
I
cigarette
think
butt put
some
out on his
real,
cheek.
I think
Like
some
that's always
real
the profile.
profilers, I think some real life profilers profiled him to be something other than he was, like real life. Like
Everybody they said
they
he
were
was a
sitting
white
on,
man.
exactly. They were sitting on the news like, yeah, he's most likely this is this, and they were like all wrong. Yeah. So,
He got
but a
touched as
lot
a
of them,
child, and then like he's a military dude who didn't get touched by nobody, and everybody's like, this is awkward.
yeah.
Nobody knows how to do their job. My bad. So like, I don't think dudes sit there and they're like, yeah, now I'm going to date Shorty, but she might be like a credit card scammer unless she's from New York, because apparently that's where that happens. And I'm just like, this is the thing, or unless they're like. And I'm African, so before anybody tries to slide in my DMs calling me disrespectful because they think I'm Nia Lee, but y'all know the stereotype. Oh, if she Nigerian or if she Ghanaian or if she Cameroonian, like West African, then she must be a criminal. Like people don't think like females do that. Like you're more likely to be considered like, oh, she slashed tires or put a brick through like a windshield or put sugar in a gas tank. Like nobody's thinking like felony,
Key your
like
car.
grand
No,
Yeah.
larceny.
you
Like
you think about
nobody's
this a
thinking
little too
set it
quick. Like
off.
you recalling this, not that you know what I mean. Like you recalling you doing this.
I
Like,
know.
no, first of all, I've never acted violently to a dude in my life except for one time. He never should have swung on me. It's not my fault he didn't make it to the NBA.
Ooh.
That's what you get for
Yeah.
putting hands on me. So with that being said, I don't think that like people think like set it off or like dead presidents when they think about women. Like the assumption is usually that like violent crimes or like felonies are perpetrated by men, and there are prisons full of women who are like crazy, like women who've done like some gangster stuff that you're like, really? But like you 5'2" and like 110 pounds when wet, and you did all of that by yourself,
Mhm.
no help. So you're just like Santa's little like demonic elf, like you the elf who like jacks up people who are on the naughty list. That's what you do. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, but you pocket size, like you fun size. Aren't you supposed to be like happy and
Fun
chipper?
size.
No, you're a psychopath. Okay, cool. It was nice meeting you. So, um,
I
so like,
Yeah. So yeah,
so
more
like,
women.
people like
Yeah.
nobody thinks women, but I have had 2 felons in my dating past. One of them was honest about it. The other one I didn't know was a felon until he let me go. And he was like, I don't think you're about this life. And I was like, what life? And that's when he was like, well, this is what I do for a living. And I was like, oh. And he was like, yeah, you're not really like, and I commented about this. He was like, listen, you're cute and you're loyal and I think it's really sweet, but you're not like a commissary and conjugal visits kind of chick. And you're not built to do 25 to life for being a mule. So I think I need to just let you go ahead and continue to be suburban because you're not about this life. And I was like, thank you. Because that whole snitches get stitches, I wasn't raised in that life. Like, we hold people accountable where I'm from. It takes a village. So you messing up, we'll dial 911 on you. Like, we ain't waiting for you to like kill a 6-year-old on like the south side of Chicago. Like, we coming for you before 50 gets to you. So I ain't about that life, bro. But good looking out. Thank you for letting me know. Just because you let me know, I'm not gonna pick up the phone on you. But and like he told me the other one, like he told me from Jump Street, like he was like, this is what it is. Because and for me it's like the easiest question to ask because all I have to ask you is, do you have a passport? And there are 2 reasons why you do not have a passport. Either you've just never applied for one because it was just never something that was like your reality, like people in your family didn't travel, you don't know travelers, so you don't know what the process is. And I've met adults who don't know how to apply for a passport on both sides of the border. Or legally you're not allowed to have a passport. There are only 2 to 3 reasons why you cannot have a passport. Your immigration status is pending, your immigration status is illegal, or you're a felon and the government will not let you travel. Those are the 3 reasons, apart from not being able to afford a passport and not knowing how to apply for a passport, that you cannot have a passport. So if I ask you if you have a passport because you date me and I catch flights and you go, nah, and I go, why? And your response is not, oh, I don't know, like I've never needed one. Nobody in my family's ever like left the city that I'm from. And you start hemming and hawing, I'm looking at you real different because all those 3 things are either illegal or a problem. Because I'm not going to be your green card. I'm not going to get deported with you. And I need to know exactly what you did to catch that case. And I need to know, is it a criminal felony? Like, is this like a violent crime? Is this like a federal felony where like you laundered money? Like, I need to know like the depth of your depravity before I decide whether or not I should friend zone you and we can move forward. So yeah, that's like the yeah, like here's my thing. I don't judge people. I don't care if you have a college degree or not. I don't care if you work at McDonald's or if you're an investment banker. Listen, there are lots of reasons why people commit crimes. You could have killed somebody defending your stepmother because your stepdaddy was abusive. You could have shot somebody who was attacking your little sister. It could have been self-defense. Like, there's a lot of reasons why somebody may pull a trigger that have nothing to do with malicious intent. And then there are a lot of reasons why somebody would have malicious intent. But I need to know, A, because I want to be safe for myself, and B, because I need to know if there's somebody coming for you for retribution. Because if you did it in self-defense and it's proven and everybody knew that your stepdaddy beat your mama like a bongo drum, I highly doubt anybody's coming to get you, and I highly doubt I'm getting kidnapped because they want to make you feel some type of way. But if you put like a few rounds in homeboy because he was encroaching in your territory, I'm not about to be an episode of The Wire. So I need you to tell me why you caught a case. That's all that I really need to know, and we'll move accordingly. I'm not going to dismiss you, but I'm going to treat you different. That's
So,
simple.
I don't no on seriously though, like no. I was just thinking about something else, but that's a whole other topic because that's like health. But actually, maybe it's not, because my sister sent me a link earlier about a news report about a guy who was here in Canada having sex, HIV positive. Okay.
Oh, I know somebody
You
who
saw
got
that, right?
profiled.
And then
Yeah, I saw
having
that on the news.
yeah, the guy that
Wait, was this year?
yeah, this year. And then
Okay,
so
this is
it was
mine is faster.
dated. I think the link was dated early, like mid-November or something. So the story,
Mm-hmm.
and he had just read it in the Jamaican newspaper, but apparently the guy is from Canada. I don't know where in Canada. And then
Mm-hmm.
he was he a couple of women reported him for having sex with them, knowing he's
Mm-hmm.
positive without letting them know. And
Mm-hmm.
I think he was wanted. That's when he took off, went to Jamaica, and he had been down there for a minute. And
Oh, I remember the story.
then he's been deported recently back to Canada to face charges.
Mm-hmm. Mhm.
Clearly, this man gives does not care about anybody else. He clearly
I like that
likes to get
censorship. You had to
down.
be like, whoa,
Yeah.
let me roll back because I was about to say something else. You're like, clear this
That is
man
the
gives
definition
no.
of misery love company.
There you go. Big time. He's just
But
like,
there's a couple of people who, like, men and women who've been put on blast in Canada and in the U.S. for doing that. Like, I remember there was a woman who, she wasn't even being like sought after. Like, she got on like World Star, I remember, like a year or 2 years ago, and she was like, she had like names, like she had like people's names, their phone numbers, and she's like, all these dudes hit it raw, and none of them, like, it was like a list of like 68 dudes. She's like, none of them asked me what my status was, none of them asked me if I've ever gotten tested, none of them asked me if I had anything, none of them insisted that they wear a condom, none of them talked about protection or diseases. And the joke is, I have full blown AIDS. I'm not HIV positive. I have full blown AIDS. It's not like for play. It's not in remission. This is not like Magic Johnson. Like, I got it,
mhm.
and they might have it too. So if you on this list, you might want to go see your doctor. And I remember seeing that, and I was like, oh, bruh. Because I mean, she brought up a very relevant topic in terms of um, willful ignorance, and being so caught up in a person that you don't ask important questions that are like relevant to your health and your life and your like well-being. Like, how you not asking somebody if they got tested before you raw dog them? Like, but ain't no box ever been that good in your life. Like, I don't care what your older brother or your cousins or Pookie and them told you. Ask questions, go to the clinic together, especially if you live in Canada. It's free.
Mhm.
How are you not getting tested? I don't understand this. Like, Google is everywhere. Like, the internets tell you that this disease kills people. And you're not asking questions? No? Okay, cool.
Better them than me.
Listen, and
But
my whole
Kinetic,
thing
okay,
is,
so how much checking do you do?
How much more? Say it again.
Checking, like looking into someone's background or what they, checking on.
No, I
Do
don't
you do
do the
any of
traditional.
it?
No, I don't. I
Not
don't.
necessarily a criminal background check, but even like checking them out, seeing,
Yeah, well, that's
okay.
what I'm saying. Like, I watch. Like I said, you
Mm,
know what? I mean, I, I literally. I know it may sound a little stalkerish, but I watch crews. Like, I don't. Like, if I'm interested in a girl, I'll watch her and her crew and how she on social media and how she interacts. I'll follow her friends and see the whole route and how she interacts with her friends, and you know what I mean. And because when you get the girl on one off, she acts one way, but when she went on her friends, she'll act another way. Online, she may act another way. So to get the whole scope of who she really is, and look at it. So I do a background check. And you might ask around, and not to too many people, but people that might, really know her. It's like, yo, she a good girl, man. Like, you know what I mean? Stuff of that
mhm.
nature. But I don't dwell into like anything like no real in depth.
so you don't like require your partner to like go and like get like their documentation to say they have all their shots?
You know what? I wouldn't say it's always happened. I have done that in the past, but in one respect, it's kind of um like I had a story. I had a story basically when it went sideways, and I'm not saying that it was more like you know I
Hmm.
don't know. It wasn't like she was insulted. More it was more like the question was brought up like you don't trust me, and of course you're supposed to ask those questions. It's your life, right? And I'm not a guy that leaves my condom too
Mm.
regularly. Like I mean, eventually it will happen with your lady. I don't care what you say. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
that's
Eventually it does
valid.
happen with your lady, right? And but that may happen after a while. Like what I mean? That's not something I do. Like I don't leave my condom. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying it has never happened, but it's what I mean. That's my in my I'd say less educated days. I respect life.
It happens.
Yeah, I respect life. I love my life.
Hmm.
So when it comes down to it, like you know what, it's like I mean, this might be kind of insulting to some, and I'm gonna say it, but it's like there's a running joke amongst my crew with me, and actually my nephew as well. It's like any girl I'm with knows for a fact if I go to the States or I go to West Indies, I will never sex anybody.
Wow. To the States or the West? Okay.
I swear.
There's a
That
lot
every
of
girl know.
there's a lot of
If I tell you I'm going to West Indies or I'm going
booty
to the
booty.
States, you know for a fact I might dance, I might catch a wine, we might even have a drink, but you know I ain't having no sex.
Mm. Unless you bring your woman along with you that
Yeah,
you've checked
exactly,
out. Okay.
exactly.
Unless they
I
with
don't.
you.
I mean, I don't really have a reputation for being a cheater to begin with. Anyway, I'm not saying I haven't done it in the past, but of course,
I don't have a
first man growing up.
reputation for.
But I don't. I'm not one to do that. I always prided myself on an ability to
Control yourself.
maintain my discipline my manhood. Let's say,
Mm.
You're very disciplined, so
So
that
it's
doesn't
just,
really surprise me.
sorry.
I said you're very disciplined, so that doesn't really surprise me. Like you're probably one of
Well,
like the most controlled people that like I've ever met, like in terms of like self control
oh wow, I
and
appreciate
self
that.
awareness.
I
Because like there's
appreciate
some
that.
people where I'm just like, bro, like, do you know how you're living your life? Like I have some friends that I just look at them and I'm like, how are you still alive? Like, no, like I'm just like, her husband didn't kill you. You don't have no diseases. Like you still have all your kidneys. Like how, Sway? How? Like somebody will like high five somebody and they'll end up like with HIV. You pretty much left with like the entire DMV and you still clean. How?
I can't. You
What
just
lucky
said
horseshoe were you
high
born under?
five.
Actually,
I'm
you know
just
what?
saying, like there's some no, like there's some people like who are like virgins. It's their first sexual partner. It's their
Think
boyfriend.
about it.
They
Yeah.
think that this person loves me, and then they go to the doctor. They end up with like some disease that doesn't have a cure, and like it's not like they were hoeing. Like this is like they gave like themselves for the first time. And then there's some people where you're just like, when are you not having sex?
Right.
Mhm.
And why is Trojan Man still not your favorite superhero? And how are you not dead?
Uh-huh.
Like you're a CDC case study. Like you have like super white cells because you get no diseases, and I don't understand.
Damn it, right?
Like, who are you? Like, look here, Wolverine. Let's have a conversation. What do you eat?
Right.
Where's your family farm? Like,
You really Deadpool.
check everlasting. I have questions.
See, and this is
So
the thing.
there are
I've
people.
never required, like people always throw it out there, but to say, okay, let's go get tested, and then you get your check sheet, and I get mine, and I've never done that. But
Well,
then
you know what?
I've never really
Listen
played.
to me carefully. In 2017, it's 16. Well, we know you got Cake Bay in Jamaica.
Mhm.
Ah,
2017, you start a clean bill of health, fresh health. You go get your checkup right before 2017. At sometime
Oh, I recently got one.
then
I
I
did a
said your 6 months,
whole,
whatever it is, you
yeah,
go,
yeah,
26, 27, 28,
yeah,
go get your
early,
clean bill of health. You know what I mean? You know that you're good.
early in
You're
the
not
year.
bringing nothing into 2017. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
All that stuff. You do all that. And went with Kate Bay, you go, let's do it together. So now
so
you have that peace of mind because, I know he Mandingo war and everything, but
that's why you keep on catching them flights. Frequent
Oh,
flyer, airplane, air
it had to come.
miles.
It had to come in somewhere somehow.
I was like, we almost made it out, and
Almost doesn't count, like Brandy said.
we almost right.
Almost made me happy. Okay, so there are three things that I think every discerning adult eventually needs to have a conversation about.
Okay.
Whether you do a background check on, so however you want to define the check, whether it's you having an adult conversation with your partner,
Mhm.
or you going behind your
Or
back. First of all,
potential.
I think it's disrespectful for you to investigate your partner without being transparent about it. Because if you have genuine concerns about their history and their background, you should address it with the person. A, so that they have the opportunity to be honest with you, and B, so that y'all aren't playing, because here's the thing, especially for women, I can't speak for men because I'm not a man. Um, I have a lot of male family members, and I remember growing up, and my male family members taught me a lot of rules about relationships that are very valid. Some of them were just trash. But one of the rules that they told me about was the emotional BS bucket. And women are guilty of this. Not all women, but a lot of women are, where we like to not address things, put it in an emotional BS bucket behind the door. And then one day when you have a big fight with your partner, male or female,
Yeah,
you
you
like to
ready to
pick up
bring it
that
up.
bucket and throw it in your partner's face. So if you're going to be in a committed adult relationship, you need to be able to communicate effectively and actively about what your concerns are. So if you're in a relationship with somebody and you have concerns about their history and how it might impact you in any form or fashion, you need to let your partner be aware of that so they can either nullify your concerns and give you the proof necessary for you to have your fears, put to bed, or you need to leave the relationship because A, you're going behind your partner's back if you're researching and investigating them, and B, you're being childish because you don't want to talk about it. So that's number one. So the three things every adult should eventually address and talk about are credit and finances, especially if you are intending to be in a long-term committed relationship that may lead to marriage or conjoined property ownership. In Canada, you are considered common law after 2 years, which means you have shared assets. And if you are living with somebody and you don't know if they know how to manage their finances and they file for bankruptcy, you're bankrupt together. So your credit is ruined together. So y'all need to have a conversation about finances and relationships. You need to have a conversation about criminal pasts. It is going to impact your ability to travel. It is going to impact that person's ability to grow their career if they're not entrepreneurs, because some employers will not hire an individual because of their criminal history. That is going to come back to finances and your ability to grow as a couple. Y'all might want to have that conversation. And the third one is your health. It doesn't matter if it is STDs, genetic predispositions, whether it's diabetes, hypertension, Down syndrome, Lyme disease, lupus, whatever the case may be, because if you intend to reproduce together and your offspring may be impacted by genealogy, y'all might want to have that conversation because you don't want like a baby popping out with two heads and then homeboy tells you, oh, where we come from, we always got two or three heads and y'all didn't have the conversation, but y'all been rolling in the deep for 6 years. That's just childish to me. So at the end of the day, everybody should be having these conversations. I'm African, like I keep on reiterating. I have lived in Africa, the United Kingdom, the US, and Canada. AIDS doesn't care about your GPS. Most of my aunts and uncles on my father's side of the family died from HIV or complications due to HIV. So I'm hyper aware. I have family in both Zimbabwe and South Africa where HIV and AIDS decimates entire communities and entire families, and they're orphans with no adults left in the family whatsoever because people are not asking questions and people are not educating themselves and people are not protecting themselves. So at the end of the day, I don't care how fine he or she is. I don't care how big her booty is. I don't care how big his wallet or his ding dong is. Everybody should be getting tested and you should be having that conversation. My test results go on my fridge and I live with my mother right now. So when I go get tested, they go on a magnet on the fridge. A, because I'm proud of the fact that I'm not infected, and B, because I have nothing to hide. So I'm going to ask that question because if you're laying with me, I need you to have the peace of mind of knowing that I'm not your biggest risk. I would appreciate the same level of respect and transparency. So it's going to happen. And if you live in the United States, you can buy self-test kits in Walgreens and CVS and Duane Reade. So you have no reason whatsoever for not getting tested. They're $45.
You see, but
here's my different brands.
Here's my thing too. I think with the whole testing, it's not that it's not important, and it's good to know your own status. And obviously, if you're entering into something, and this will bring a level of comfort to both of you, it's share each other's status with each other. But I think that also gives people a false sense of security because people do things after the fact. People do things. And just because they've been safe for the most part and they checked out and they're good right now, this doesn't carry over. I mean, it changes every 6 months, right? Like things can come up at any point in a 6-month span. So if you
live in Canada, the United Kingdom, most of Europe, a lot of countries in Africa, Australia and New Zealand, there is universal health care.
No,
you're supposed to get an annual physical.
Fine.
Let me finish.
Of course,
you're supposed to get an annual physical every year. So if you're in a relationship with your partner, if I go get my physical on my birthday every year like I do, and something comes up, no, but I'm just saying, even if I'm in a relationship, so if I've been in a relationship for 5 years, that means I've had 5 physicals. Because if you've been around for 5 birthdays, you've been around for 5 physicals. And if we've been together for 5 years, I'm pretty sure there was a moment where there was too much Hennessy in my system. You had too much, punch in because we went to Soca Fete or we were playing mass. Things popped off and nobody was being a responsible adult. And we both had our physicals because we've been together for 5 years. So if in the 12 months that we've been together, you participated in shenanigans that resulted in you getting caught up or I participated in shenanigans that resulted in me getting caught up, because women cheat too. We're just better at it than dudes are. That's why we don't get caught. But if somebody strayed from the commitment that was made and nobody wants to be an adult about it, when you go see your doctor, even if you don't tell your partner, you know what time it is. Mm-hmm. So even if you don't come back to your partner and you go, babe, I went and I got my, my blood test came back, everything is good except for yada, yada, bling, blong, whatever it is. There's no difference between you going to a gun shop, getting a license, buying a Colt 45 and a round of ammunition, and playing Russian roulette with your partner's life. That is literally what you're doing. And every time that you lay with your partner without protection, knowing full well you're infected with some disease that will negatively impact them, you are literally pulling the trigger and hoping that a bullet doesn't come out. And the sad thing is, for a lot of people who find out that they're infected with any disease, regardless of what it is that when their partner gets it, it's hell on earth for their partner. It's not like it's like dormant and is just chilling. Whatever that disease is, ravages their partner, like goes to work on their partner. And you did that.
In some cases,
you own that.
Women carry things that don't affect them as badly as their partners, their male partners, when they pass it on, and vice versa. So, no. There are some that show up more, but this is my thing. So we both get tested. Me or dude or chick cheats in the meantime or something, and something happens. Someone's infected and it's passed on before the next day. So all I'm saying is, just because you get that, like, that's not the only thing.
What happens obviously you have in the dark will always come out in the light.
And sometimes it's too late.
But once again, this comes down to personal accountability and integrity. Because if you're dating somebody who can't be adult enough to tell you that they pose a risk to your very ability to like exist, there's a bigger problem. Like, listen, if you catch something and you know your body, so this is for adults who know their bodies,
some
male
people
or female.
Doesn't affect them, but when they
once
pass
again,
it on,
let me finish. If you know your body, and I'll speak for women because I can't speak for dudes. Women know when we have BV, we know when we have a urinary tract infection, we know when we have a yeast infection, we know when something isn't right. We know when our period is off, unless your period is just irregular and crazy.
That was a really STD that you mentioned, by the way, but go ahead.
No, hold on. There's STDs, syphilis affects periods, herpes affects periods. There are things that are triggered by hormonal changes. So with that being said, if you know that your body's off, so hypothetically speaking, I'm dating somebody, I just don't feel right. And I'm like, babe, I think I'm going to go to the doctor because I've been having these headaches or whatever the case may be. I go to my doctor. My doctor's like, well, let's just run some blood work. Let's just, whatever. We'll see, maybe you have, a bacterial infection because you just came back from the Dominican Republic. Yolanda, you like to cash flights, whatever the case may be. And I go and I get tested. And, my doctor comes back and goes, well, you don't have a bacterial infection, but who did you kick it with in the Dominican Republic, boo? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, one too many tequila shots. And, Juan told me I look pretty. And, one thing led to another. He's going to be like, well, Juan gave you more than a compliment, boo, because this is what you got. Now, if you're really lucky, penicillin may fix it and everybody goes home. And, you're good. Nobody's going to die. You're embarrassed. You disrespected your man because you crept on your trip.
Then you got to let him know, just in case he needs to get checked.
You got to let him know. There are some people who don't. There are some people who don't.
Exactly.
Hold on. Let me finish.
That's my point.
There are dudes because, like I said, I grew up with a lot of dudes. And growing up, I was a tomboy. So I've driven a lot of people to the free clinic because their girlfriend's mothers worked in that neighborhood and their car could be seen pulling up to the free clinic. So I'm speaking from like witness where I'm like, really, bro, you're not gonna tell her, well, I got a shot, so she good. And I'm like, really? That's what we're doing today? Oh, okay, well, don't shake my hand no more because I don't know what else you shared with all of us. Like that high five could kill me. Just saying. But there are people who something pops up. It may be a bump. The pee may be, might burn. Whatever the case may be, whatever indication, because eventually your body will snitch on you. It may not be today, it may not be next week, it may not be next month, but eventually What happens in the dark will come out to the light. Heck, it might be a baby. It might not even be an STD. It might be a new human being. Listen, there's a lot of things that could go left with not using a condom. Okay. But whatever it is, we gonna find out. And if you haven't told your partner, male or female, I will once again say this. A, you're immature. B, you lack integrity. C, you're a public enemy, because if you haven't told your partner, I'm guaranteeing anybody else that you were laying with, because you didn't get it from your partner, anybody else that you were laying with is at risk. Or not just your girl, but your side chick, your other chick, and your backup chick, or your Splackavelli, 90s reference. Yeah, SPL. Don't make me do it. But whoever it is, Mrs. Jones, you're a risk to your husband and Marvin Gaye. You're not just putting your husband at risk. You just putting everybody that you lay with at risk. So it's going to come out eventually.
And that's my point. It will come out. Everything will come out.
And there's some people where I've seen this happen where a dude is like, I ain't going to say nothing, but he was kicking it with another chick, and the other chick called his main chick. I was like, hey, girl, you don't know me, and now we got to be Barbara and Shelley. Like, nobody's having a woman-to-woman talk with me. Like, you try it if you want to. Be Shelley if you want to. Go ahead and call me. Go. I dare you. I wish you would. I wish you would, girl. Because both of y'all's mothers better have nice black dresses. You called who? To say what? About what? Oh,
and you wouldn't appreciate that though if a woman called you if
Listen,
she found
first
out
of all,
after
if
the fact
you
about
are
you,
hitting me up,
found out after the fact about
if you found out about me after the fact, this should be a 5-minute conversation. You're gonna call me and you're gonna be like, hey, you don't know me. That's a red flag number one. Like anybody who calls me and says you don't know me, we already have beef. Because I know that you don't have good news. Like you're not about to be like, oh, you don't know me, girl, but you want $15 million. Like that's not coming out your mouth, because you still not gonna know me. You're gonna keep that check for yourself. But if you call me and go, hey, girl, you don't know me, but we both know Tyrone. I don't date anybody named Tyrone, but we both know Tyrone. And I just want to let you know, when he's not coming home to you at night, he's coming home to me. And, I just want to let you know that the only reason why he's coming back to you is for the sake of the kids. Like, you're not having that conversation with me.
Not that.
What you should do, homegirls in the universe, should you ever stumble across this podcast and you be sleeping with my man, or in this case, our man, because he's community D, need to know where he is when he's not at home with me. I don't need to know that he's staying for the sake of the kids. I need you to make it 30 seconds. Bring, bring. Hello, may I help you? Hey, is this Yolanda? Yes, it is. You don't know me. Okay, girl, what do I need to know about you? I'm sleeping with your man. How long? Okay, how frequently? Thank you. God bless you. May you have many sons. Click. Like, that's the only conversation we need to have. That's it. You don't need to go into details. I don't need to know what his favorite position is. I don't need to know about the thing you do with your tongue. I don't need to know how long it's been. I don't need to know that you know his cousins and his mama. I don't need to know that you were at Thanksgiving when I was in the hospital to get my appendix out. Like, we don't need to go into details. That's not necessary. You knew my phone number. I don't know you, but you sleeping with my man. So now he's our man. So that's cool. The next phone call that's going to happen is I'm going to call him. We better not be living together because he's about to be homeless. He better be coming to your house. In fact, I'd appreciate it if you called him after you told me about you and him and just let him know that he's living at your house now. He don't need to stay for the sake of the kids. He don't need to explain himself. Listen, no, girl. The next question I'm going to ask is, when's the last time you went to the doctor? Like, no word of a lie. I'm not going to ask you, does he love you? I'm not going to ask you, what does she have that I don't have? I'm not that chick. I'm not 19 anymore. Those are questions I asked when I was still going through puberty and adolescence. At 32 plus, you sleeping with another chick and she calls me, and I just need to know if y'all have been to the doctor. Because if I go to the doctor and I find out that I have something that a penicillin shot can't fix, and you found out about me and you decided to let that marinate for 6 months, which hymn would you like them to sing at your going home ceremony? Because it's going to be a wake. Somebody's making sweet potato pie and it's going to be Patti LaBelle. Somebody's singing His Eyes on the Sparrow. And we're going up yonder. I'm doing 25 to life for a double homicide, but best believe my kids are taken care of. Try me if you want to. Don't call me on no foolishness.
I ain't going to prison.
Tell me you're doing it, and tell me if you've been to the doctor. No, like it's not even
for nobody. But no. And that was because I received a call not too long ago. I mean, it's been a while, but I received a call from who appears to be the main but this is, and I didn't even really care about the details of their relationship, and even why I was brought in. I thought it was kind of funny. We did end up having a conversation, but the main part of that conversation and the biggest scare to me was because there are things that are transmitted in different ways. It's not all through straight up intercourse, and there's just things that you just need to know.
I think you just need to be adults. If you're getting head
And
without saran wrap or without a rubber, you can
yeah,
catch it.
and
All
we
of it. Everything on
exactly.
the
There are a
list that
lot
the
of things that
CDC
can
says will
be,
kill you.
as a woman, very open and just whatever. And so, um, and we had that conversation, and I spoke with her, and she called me, and she had my number for the longest time, and she had been watching it or whatever, and I don't know why. It's
Why are you
all
sitting on it, girl? Why are
I
you
just
sitting
said,
on
I
it?
wish you had called earlier. I did, but, and I said, well, I wish you'd opened your damn mouth at that point because this could have ended a long time ago.
And don't call me
Because,
blocked, breathing heavily on the phone. That's Silence of the Lambs ish. I am
yeah,
Hannibal
no,
Lecter. Play with me if you want to. They won't find your body. Stop it.
yeah, no, I didn't. It wasn't that. She just, I don't know what magic he had, but whatever, and that shit is stringing along for years. I'm just like, I can't relate. So we really don't have that in common because I'm out. And I don't know what's going on over there, and I really don't care. And I was so out. But and if maybe I had done a thorough check, because I mean, this person lived in another city, right? That I knew nobody and I I kind of feel not on the
You
STD,
got?
not on the STD tip, huh? Yeah,
I said you got.
not on that, but just in general, like not knowing, like this is a person I had no ties to with anybody else, which I don't
Mm.
generally do. And so after the fact, I was like, man, I should have done more. I should have dug a little. I should have, you know, but how? You know what I mean? Other than going to the police and reporting
Google.
the name, it's like,
Listen,
yeah,
Google
I
image.
did a bit of
No,
that.
here's
But
Google
not for
image
that reason.
search.
Not for that reason.
The easiest way to look up anybody if you
Yeah.
ever have any concerns is you can literally go to their Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, any social media where they have a picture. You can actually
Which he
take
didn't
somebody's
have it. He
picture.
never, no images online. Didn't, not that
Okay,
I know of. Not that
somebody,
I know
somebody,
of.
somebody's tagged them. I guarantee you. Even if
Not
they
that I know
deleted
of.
it,
Mm-mm.
Sugar Plum, even if they deleted it, the internet is forever. This is just a reminder to everybody. So even if you go and you tell your ex girl, oh, you got to take everything down because we ain't together no more, but we together sometimes and I feel some type of way. So delete my pictures from your profile and the tag. Even if she deletes you from her Facebook profile, that footprint, that fingerprint is forever.
I
Like
understand.
the archive of that page exists. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have concerns that who you're dating is not who you think you are dating, meaning that might not be their government name, they might not have been born a woman or a man, depending on how you roll, because that's one of those things that keeps on coming up these days. Um, Google image search. Literally find a picture of them. Heck, a selfie together with them. You can crop yourself out, put it in the search bar in Google, and Google will has an
Google
algorithm that will search for
by
every image
image.
on the internet since the internet existed and will pull up every reference. That includes
Yeah.
DMV pictures, criminal record mugshots. Listen, I know people who've done Google image searches and people's ID badges from previous jobs have come up before there was like
Mhm.
data encryption because it didn't exist across the planet. So you'd be surprised. High school IDs come up. So yeah, I've had one woman to woman conversation where like she called me and she was like, yeah, he never signed the divorce papers. And I was like, really? Is that because,
Wow.
and she literally hit me with the, I just wanted to let you know because, maybe you don't know, we're still married and we got 2 kids. I was like, you're still who?
Mm.
And she was like, we're still married. I was like, you know what? I don't know you. And I was unaware that that was the situation. So I apologize for disrespecting your union, regardless of whether or not it ended and the legalities have not been taken care of. I will take ownership for not being an adult and asking adult questions because I was caught up in homeboy. Um, but we don't need to have this conversation because you can keep him. You're good. Like, you don't even need to drag this out. Consider me notified. Just to let you know, I went to the doctor 2 weeks ago because it was my birthday. If you want me to send you the results so that you can have peace of mind, I'm more than happy to FedEx them overnight to you because ain't nobody coming back to me talking about, oh, if it wasn't for you, then me and my husband would not, like, we're not doing that today. And she was like, Oh, and I was like, oh, you thought I was gonna fight for him?
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
you thought I wanted to keep him? Girl, you cute. No, that's your husband. You're the one who got stupid and married a hoe. Like that's not on me. I was just kicking it with the hoe. You married to the hoe. You got bigger problems because I'm pretty sure he been a hoe before. So, good looking out. And then he tried to, hit me up with the, it hasn't been working and I don't love her. And I was like, did I forget to block you? Dang, let me block you now. He changed his phone number and tried to hit me up. Changed his Facebook, tried to hit me up. Heck, I'm pretty sure he's probably listening to this podcast right now. I'm going to have to block him again.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, we don't. No, like I don't. And it wasn't even like on any beef thing. I was hurt because homeboy was talking about relocation. Like you knew you had like a whole wife and children for
Yeah.
9 months, and she had to tell me that you were married. Oh, okay.
Kinetic, I know. Sorry, I know. Silly question.
Yeah.
But is there anybody that had to find out the hard way about you as a man? Now think back to your younger silly days. Did you?
Bad
Is
story.
there any woman that should have ran out? Should have ran
already
out
told y'all.
to check on you?
I only had one bad story, man. Where as I told you that I had to break up with her on Christmas Day. So that was
Oh
about it.
right, yeah.
That's my only
Okay,
real
okay,
bad story. I'm a good
okay.
guy, real talk.
Wow.
And you know what? Oh, this
That's
was
nice to
Any
know.
ladies dated Kinetic, please give us a call.
yeah.
The link is
Hey,
on the
Listen, there's a
page.
handful.
I'm
There was
friend.
a 6 year, there was the 8 year, there was a 7 year, there was you could have been my wife and you just screwed it up.
Gosh,
And there
Dave
was
wanted those.
I'm just waiting for her to get her head right. I've heard about them so many times this year. I know the roster, girl.
Right?
Oh gosh.
Well,
I'm
that
pretty sure
story
they've been tagged on
turned out
Instagram.
to be
Like I'm just like, listen, if anybody was gonna put them on blast, because women have no filter. When we fed up, everybody knows we fed up.
right.
Everybody, it's in
No, real
subliminal
talk.
Facebook updates, tweets.
I'm not saying I haven't been bad because growing up, you like Julie Mangles, you like Julie Mangles. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean. When you turn a man, you know what I mean. Like I was bad for a minute, but I wasn't. But as a man, when I got a girlfriend, I was straight.
Yeah, I think I've been a savage a couple of times, but I'm the dangerous kind of savage. Like you have to trigger me, and I'm so happy I grew up. Like me at 22 versus me at 32. Whew, like I said, 2016 has been a year of evolution because me at 22, like I look back at like my sophomore year of university, I'm like, bruh.
But
To
you know
anybody
what?
I did dirty, my bad.
I actually want to address something that you said though. And I wanted to, well, not I wouldn't say correct, but I say put a different lens on it. You said that because it also applies to myself, and it's not that about how come you're not married, or you're not this, or not that, how come you're not pregnant, and and all that stuff. What it comes down to is that just some people just have a higher standard than others.
See, okay, so that's a different conversation. Because remember when you made the statement about, and I sent to you guys the Demetria Lucas. For those who don't know, she's a writer for like Essence magazine, and she was on a reality TV show for 2 seasons. And she's
Oh
written
yeah.
books. She wrote a Belle in Brooklyn and Don't Waste Your Pretty. And she's recognized as like a millennial relationship coach. And she got married last year or this year. And so she does like a question and answer thing where you can like write relationship questions to her and she'll like respond because she's recognized as a relationship expert based on her own experiences dating in like New York and whatnot. And somebody wrote to her and said, I've been considering buying a house and my friends and family are saying that I shouldn't buy a house until I'm in a relationship because it'll put off a potential mate because I'm established and, I have financial security and, I'm glowed up or whatever. And it's intimidating. And she made the response that, and Demetria Lucas's response was, do not limit yourself or downplay your greatness in order to accommodate somebody else's mediocrity, because somebody who appreciates that greatness will match it. Either they'll be inspired by it, it'll force them to step their game up so that they can be a man worthy of being a woman, of being with a woman like you, or they're already at that level and they've been waiting on you. But don't sit there and play small just so that somebody else can be, good with being great in quotation marks, because they're really not. And I remember Kinetic making the statement about, if you are, financially well off, or, you own properties, like, don't tell a dude, because, like, homeboy might not call you back, or the text messages may become few and far between. And it's interesting that you come back and now you're talking about, having higher standards and not being willing to settle, even if that means having to wait longer. Because for the longest time, my mother used to make statements to me like, oh, you're too picky, with regard to what I want in a partner. And it's funny because when I have conversations with my female friends about dating and relationships and marriage, first of all, I don't want to get married more than once. That's the hopeless romantic in me, and that's the old school traditionalist in me. I want to get married for life. I want to mate like a penguin, except not like the savage penguin who got jumped because his girl cheated. I want my rock, and I'm going to keep my rock. In the sense of, if somebody chooses me, I want it to be for life. I want Ruby Dee and Ozzie Davis. Like, that's what I want. I want to be 90, in a rocking chair, and we're both on dialysis because our kidneys have shut down, and we don't want to cuss out anybody but each other because it's you or nobody else. Like, I'm good. When you die 5 minutes later, I'm gone because my life doesn't function without you. Like, that's the kind of love that I want. In order for me to have that, there are two things that I've learned. I need to be patient, and everything that I ask for, I need to bring to the table. And so, when my mom and my aunts used to be like, oh, you're so picky, and, he doesn't exist. I'm not going to ask for more than I can bring to the table. I don't expect you to be a perfect match for me, because then that's boring. Why would I want to date myself or be married to myself? But there are things that I will not compromise on because I bring it to the table. Heck, a lot of the times I built the table, and I will not apologize for building the table. So if I say that I want somebody who's ambitious, I'm at work until 2:00 in the morning. I'm a full-time student. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not asking you for anything that I wouldn't give you. If I say that I want somebody who prays for me, it's because I'll pray for you more than I pray for myself. I'll probably pray for your mama when I pray for my mama. If I say I want a man who can cook, it's because I don't like being hungry. My sister's a chef. I better be able to know how to cook. There are things that I'm going to ask for because I can deliver on. And there are things that I'm going to ask for that I don't have because I know that there are growth opportunities and there's an 80-20 rule. So when it comes to you're 32 and you don't have kids and you're not married, I'm no longer confrontational about it, and I'm no longer apologetic about it, because I don't want to be 35 and have been married for 3 years and I'm getting divorced from somebody I barely know and from somebody who didn't match me. Like, I don't understand people who get into relationships for the sake of a title, and 3 years into the relationship, you're both exactly where you started. Like, you still working the same jobs, your bank account hasn't increased, your credit score is still trash, so neither one of you can get a car or buy a house. You haven't traveled the world, you're not more spiritually conscious, you haven't read any new books. You're literally the same people in 3 years, and you call this a functional relationship. That makes no sense to me. Any relationship that you're in, if you're in exactly the same place you were when you started, 12 months into that relationship, end it.
I mean, you don't have a plan.
It's not even that you don't have a plan.
No. I'm saying, as a couple, when you get with somebody, you have to have a plan and work that plan as well. You know what I mean? Work as a team.
So and that's why I said I'm not like combative, because before it used to be like, well, I'm a strong, like I used to do the resume. Women like to do that, I got a master's degree, I own 3 houses, my credit score 850, I do Pilates 6 days a week, I can put my foot behind my neck, I volunteer at the Salvation Army, the resume, but you're lonely. Like, that's literally how that usually ends, but you're by yourself. So, like, do you have the body pillow with the arm or no? Because you gave your resume, but you're still by yourself. So I used to do that because I was using it to justify being single. I'm now at a point in my life where I'm like, yes, I'm single. And people are like, but why? And I'm like, well, because I'm a work in progress and I'm work. Like, I'm overtime another time. I don't try and pretend like I'm not. I'm very transparent about the fact that I'm work. So if you date me, you know exactly what you're signing up for. There are no surprises. So you can't turn around and be like, oh, well, you didn't tell me that, X, Y, Z. I'm like, actually, yes, bro, I have a text message. December 15th, 6:24 p.m. on WhatsApp. I told you I was crazy. Right there. I told you I was crazy. December 16th, 2:34 p.m. I told you I don't watch horror movies. I'm pretty sure I told you that we don't play them games. So I'm very transparent. But yeah, no, settling is not an option. Compromises, settling is not. So that's also why I do the adult conversation. I need to know that you know how to handle your money, because I can handle my money. I know what my credit score is, and it ain't in the 600s. Just so I should let y'all know. My money ain't funny. I know exactly what my medical status is because I live in this body. I better know what's going on with it. And I don't catch cases. So you don't have to worry about the FBI turning up at the front door asking you some questions about where I was last Thursday. If you have an issue having conversations about those three things, you really shouldn't date me because you're going to be very uncomfortable.
I just want to address the idea. Oh, sorry, you finished, Mr. Supernerd?
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah. I just want to address the context of that conversation where I said basically that women should not let them know that they own property or their money or stuff of that nature. I'm not saying that you should never have those conversations. What I say is that you don't throw that in your mentoring. That is the context of that conversation. So you're very right that I said that, but I wanted to clarify, the context or the narrative of that conversation. If you want to keep a man, if you want a man to be in your life, the idea was, or the context was, you know what? When you get into that argument, don't say I got my own money, my own car, my own this, my own that.
Oh, don't
I don't need a
emasculate
man,
him.
'cause one day you're going to be right.
I mean, and I completely agree. That's the resume that I was referencing. Like if your entire context with regards to relationships is everything that you bring to the table and everything that you don't need, you're, like I said, does your body pillow have the arm or no? A lot of extremely successful women with amazing real estate portfolios, they also have a box that sits in their bedside table, and that's been their boyfriend, and Duracell was sponsoring that box. So every winter is very lonely, and it vibrates, and may the force be with you, because you keep on bringing up your resume.
Oh my goodness. Okay, can I bring something totally different up? I didn't post about it tonight.
We're talking about Kanye and Donald Trump, because
no.
I'm not fed up with Kanye. Him and his launches.
No, we're not even talking about that. Because I also posted something. I think I didn't post the image because it was a little too. It was a bit much for any little kids that might stumble upon my page, including my. So
your child.
But I think I mentioned it in one of the intros, or one of the descriptions of the show, and it's like one of these. I think they range in price, but I saw one as high selling, going for as high as 15,000, and they're not brand new. They've been around a bit, but they are improving these things by the minute. So these are life-size sex dolls. I'm like whispering, like whatever, like sex dolls.
You're on the radio. It's recorded. Right? The internet is forever. I mean. Like live sex doll, girl. She owns these.
And it is 11:15 p.m. right now during the live to air. So all these kids should be in their bed anyway. And
these little savages are
and
still paying attention. Don't lie to
yourself. They would have checked out. They would have checked
girl,
out.
They're still awake. They're on World Star right now watching somebody's granny twerk.
Yeah, exactly. I don't hear any of this serious talk. Get tested, get checked, have the hard talks. Like they're like, okay, bye. This sounds like some future stuff, right?
If you're not old enough to file taxes, keep your legs closed and your pants on.
Right? They're like, well, no, 18.
I know it ain't gonna happen.
That's another thing. No, that's another thing I was gonna mention. I was gonna mention actually when you said the age. But so back to these dolls, because I was telling a guy friend about it, and he's just like, yeah, but those dolls, yeah, they, something like they don't get wet and they don't have enough suction on their mouth. There's something stupid. His comment.
Listen, bro, like these toys have evolved. Don't lie to yourself.
Listen, they like her thing vibrates, and they're made of this. I don't know if it's some type of silicone. Yeah, some type of real
Okay,
like
I have friends who are sex therapists, so I'll give
good.
you the breakdown on this because you sound uncomfortable.
No,
So for the
I don't.
adults who are
I don't. I know I
listening,
don't. But the one picture that I actually sent a friend of mine because I was like, no, these things look ultra real. But she had the nipple piercings and all that. I was like, okay, that one I'm not going to put up on my page. However, like these things, but the question about it, and so you can go into the description. But I like the point of me bringing this up is, and some people have said this is like first of all, would you date somebody who has one of these, male or female? So you walk into their home and you, because I just had that image when you said the box on the bed, the the nightstand, and so you walk in and maybe it's tucked in the closet or maybe it's sitting in a chair or something, and you walk in and dude or chick has this life
just
size
post it up.
that they just use occasionally or whatever, or they had been using it before you. And but it's there just like any other toy for whenever, or maybe bring it into the bedroom or whatever room with us. Could you
Ah,
go with that? Like I think personally it
okay,
goes back to the
would
horror
you
movie.
let's flip the script? Would you
That's what I'm saying. It goes back to the whole horror movie.
like
Like
no like you go to Jamaica, you're in Kingston, Cakes Bay goes like you go to visit him because he just
a
moved, and
lot of
Cakes Bay got a friend sitting on the couch, but the couch is you know she's factory made. What would
first
you
of
do?
all,
Let's start
first
with you.
forget that scenario because like I don't know why like just forget that scenario. But if
Oh, so
I'm
Cake Bay ain't
seeing
about that life. Okay, thank you for revalidating. But I'm just saying, flip the script. Would
no,
you?
I did not say that. Because okay, in a situation where so where you're saying there's a long distance relationship, it
No,
might
I'm just
work. Because
saying, you
I
go to
no
go see your dudes, and his friend
exactly,
is sitting on the
but
couch.
this is what I'm saying. I threw this into somebody to say if you had a like if I was seeing someone and he's long distance, then that might be okay. I'll be like, okay, you doing it with the dog? Like, no, I think I would like. I think I couldn't
Tell the
picture.
truth, because I do not see you going. That's okay. Like I see side eyes, neck rolls, a few
But
WTF,
no,
At
but what I'm
least it should
saying,
be.
folded arms. Hold
no,
up, you gonna go sit in the car for like 15 minutes while you process, and you call up your homegirl, like, girl, let me tell you what just happened. What am I supposed to do? Like I
but
don't see
this
it
is what
playing
I'm
out that way
saying.
with
No,
you.
what I'm saying is I might I might look at it like, okay, it's either going to be this doll or it's going to be another chick or two. So which one do I want? I want him to be with a doll that they do talk, that these men are now complaining about. They're like, who idea was it to have this chick ask me, how are you feeling after the fact? He's like, no, I don't need that. Like, I guess they just want the moans and groans during or whatever, like whatever daddy during the act. But afterward, no conversation. So one, this guy was highly upset about that new feature. But if so I could see it being good in a long distance relationship. I could see how it could work. But when I'm there, yeah, I don't want to see it. I don't want to have there's no smell of it. Like
Listen,
No,
I don't want to
y'all are in a
know.
communal relationship because she's keeping your man loyal to a certain extent. So
Hey
no,
girl,
no, no.
I
here's
brought you a new outfit.
here's
What are new
I
lingerie?
can't. Oh Lord.
What am I gonna do?
So I will give my perspective
I wasn't
because I
ready.
mean I don't know about like male blow up dolls. I've only heard about female blow up dolls,
Ooh, but
and
imagine a
like
good one
you
though.
know
Imagine a good male one. Just imagine
no,
that for a second.
I don't know. Listen, I don't know because I'm not going to touch on that because I've never heard, so I can't comment on something that I've never been exposed to.
I'm gonna look that one
I
up
you
right now.
know there've been a lot of comedy shows that have referenced like the female blow up doll, from the super awkward moments on the bus to girlfriends finding it in like the hallway closet. So it's
Yeah.
kind of, once again, it falls in that category of like male criminals. Whereas like
Mhm.
usually when somebody says blow up doll, you don't think of a dude. You usually think of like a chick with like an O for a mouth. Like that's usually what like
Yeah,
I
and
think of when I
those.
think blow up doll.
Mhm.
I've been really lucky that I have like friends who are like sex therapists. So
Mhm.
like they talk about this stuff, and like when it comes out, like they have to talk to their clients about it. So here's
Mhm.
my take on this. Everybody has some form of sexual deviancy, based on somebody else's standard. So there are some men who like to be, put in diapers, given pacifiers and baby bottles. Like this is the thing. Um, there are, some men who like for you to river dance on their ding
And
dong
the-
and, other apparatus. There's some men who like to, smell shoes. Like there are people with many preferences on the planet. And at the end of the day, I think, to each their own. If, once again, y'all are having adult and transparent conversations about what your desires and your fetishes and your turn-ons and your comfort levels are, and everybody's cool with it, then do you. For me personally, once again, anthropologist, I need to know what led to you spending $1,500 on a blow up chick. Like, first of all, because it's not like $150. Like, it's $1,500. That's like a
And
winter
up. Oh
beater.
no.
And no, I'm just saying, like, entry level. Like, listen. If you have money, spend $10,000 on like a blow up doll that like walks around in like an apron and like serves you beers. Hey, that's your money. It ain't my money. That ain't none of my business. But like, I need to know, like, because there's a thought process. There's a decision-making process that happens. It's not like you stumbled across this doll like Walmart. You're like, let me just take this home and see how it feels. There's a 30-day return policy. If I ain't about that life, I'll just, hose it down and, bring it back to the store. Like, you sat there and you did your research and you asked questions because, somebody told you about this, because millennials and most shoppers, 80% of shoppers, need a cosign from somebody else before they buy something, whether it's somebody recommended a product, a service, or a person to you for something. We go on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook to see reviews, Yelp, Groupon, whatever the case may be. Somebody had a conversation with you in some form or fashion about this. You sat there and you did your research because you have options. You chose one over the other. And then you walked into a store or you went onto a website, you handed over your credit card or your debit card, you made a purchase, you either took it home in a box, set it up, or it got shipped to you. Listen, I don't care if this is like IKEA's Build-A-Bay. You thought about this. So I need to know, what was that thought process? What made you think, yeah, I think I'm going to buy me a friend? Because here's the thing about that. With any form of deviancy, with any form of, fetish, addiction, whatever, there's like the acceptable and the depraved. And it's a thin line. Like, it ain't a hop, skip, and a jump. Like, this ain't like, you don't go from like a blow up doll to like turning a woman into a cadaver. Like, it's not like it's like a 10-year progression. Like, there are dudes who buy like a blow up doll on Monday and they have like a dead body in their house on Friday. I'm just saying, like, I need to know how deep the rabbit hole goes. I need to know what your attachment to this doll is, because if she came before me and then I turn up and you keep her, we need to have a conversation about why you keep her. Because you got her because you were single. You're not single anymore. You have a whole nother box of mouth that you don't need anymore. Why is she still here when I come to your house? That's a conversation. I also need to know, is this like a control thing? Because you said your homeboy doesn't like conversations like after the fact. So like, is
No,
this
that
like
was just a man on
like? No, I'm just saying, like, whoever it is, like, whatever, Pookie and them on, on World Star or, RedTube, whatever. Whoever said it, like, you just want women to shut up in general and you have misogynistic issues, or is it just really weird for you after you're done and you feel dirty? Like, the psychologist in me is not going to react in a way that dudes expect, like, oh my God, that's disgusting, I can't talk to you because you're weird. Or, she's like, so when we playing with it? Like, that's what dudes usually expect. I ask questions. I'm like putting you on the couch. I'm busting out a notepad. I'm literally like, so, what's your relationship with your mother like? Was she around when you were growing up? Like, that's me. Like, I'm not just, it's not a regular conversation. So I'm the wrong person to ask. I'm not going to judge you for it, but we going to have a lot of conversations. I'm going to ask a lot of questions. You better be ready to answer them.
Let's put it this way. I don't care. First of all, buy one of those dolls, you wire different. Because
let's start there. You effed. Yeah.
You special. I'm still asking questions. Like, I'm sorry. I need to know. I need to know how you function. It's not going to be a regular question. I'm not going to judge you, but we're going to have a conversation. That's me. So there's a reason why they call me the Supernerd.
Forget the damn dollars. back in the closet. Just forget her.
No, real talk. No,
Because
think,
okay, but if
listen.
we're having an adult conversation, I don't understand why like you would be in a relationship with somebody and not use toys.
No, see, but
That's my standpoint.
that's not a
I
toy.
don't know what those toys are. Listen, a blow up doll is a
That ain't a
toy.
toy.
That's a category that it falls
Yes,
into.
no, they are. Yeah.
No, that ain't a
So
toy. That gone beyond the toy. That's some psychological
he's
comforting.
like,
Yo,
no,
listen,
that's a
be
whole
careful.
nother girlfriend.
Yeah,
That ain't no toy.
listen to me. A toy is something that you can put away. That ain't something you can put away. It's not like you take a lifestyle thing and say, okay, I'm gonna
You're
hang up in the
not able to
closet.
deflate it. You don't know his life. You ain't there. You didn't buy it. You don't know how this thing functions. You don't know if
I'm
it like
judging.
it's like those like kid robot toys
Bring
that
out
like
my
stand in the
penny. I'm
corner and
judging.
it's like considered modern. Yes, you are. Yeah, no, I'm asking questions. First of all, I'm trying to figure you out because I need to know like what is this just like you got bored and you got like your tax refund and you were just like what's the craziest thing that I can buy, or are you crazy? Like that's number one.
No, real
Number
talk. No,
two.
listen. As I'm saying though, honestly, you wired different. For you to go look at a doll and look at the comforts of a woman and look at a doll and have the comforts of a woman but still want to keep that doll. To even go buy that doll?
It might be a security blanket.
Carefully.
Maybe
Listen, I'd
he
rather
had
my live
ED.
blanket over no
Listen,
dumb latex.
listen. Maybe he had ED, and this toy helped him like rediscover his manhood, and that's why he keeps it around because it's like a security net. I
As
don't know
I
this
said, you
man. I haven't
wired
interviewed
different.
him.
As I said, you wired different.
I haven't interviewed. I haven't interviewed
You
him.
blew your
I
own
just think
boxes.
that.
Need a rewiring. You deserve to get beat. Any man
Listen,
that buy one of those wait $1,500.
no, they are up to
This
15,000. The average is like
what?
Woo!
4,000,
No, bro.
5,000.
Like,
No. You
that's a new
listen.
Honda Civic,
You gonna
bro.
go buy?
That's a
Listen, they
new
are
Honda Civic with upgrades.
they speak. The mouth is designed in a very special way. The
Some of
lips,
them are
the
shaped after porn stars. Like some of them, like they like stuck
Listen to
like
me.
yeah.
cameras up
Listen
their
to me
hoo
carefully.
ha.
For $15,000, you can go make a porn star video.
Buy a porn star.
Listen, for
No,
$15 and a data plan, you could do that with like a Virgin Mobile phone. Like you don't really need $15,000. At the
but some
end
of
of the
them,
day,
listen, I sent you guys a link. There's some of them are. I'm just not promoting this company because I don't know. I don't want to ruin anybody's lives or homes or whatever.
one day a child is going
But
to hear this and look at you differently.
oh my goodness, right? But they are real. Like when you see them, like honestly, check.
I
There's
don't
Instagram.
care.
No, I know.
Listen, I'm
No.
not
But I'm
going.
Listen,
saying,
I don't care for
Listen,
you.
Kinetic
No,
has made his statement. You crazy. You need an intervention and an exorcism if you go and spend anything over $100 for your blow up doll. That is his statement. And
oh
if you get
my
a girlfriend,
this is
goodness,
my
you
thing.
I
This is
shouldn't
think
my
keep
they
thing.
it.
have.
No, here's my thing. Here's the thing.
No, you need to get off that website. You need to click
No.
out right
I
now.
think I'm.
Care.
No, here's my
I
thing.
think I'm seeing a
Real
foot
talk.
with
Real
a
talk. Here's my thing.
the JJ built in for
For
the
you to
foot
go
There's
get
some
your
guys that
thing,
have foot fetishes.
foot fetish
for
too.
you to go
Yeah.
get your thing and to look at a rubber, I don't care.
Why does it always cut off when he's popping
When
off?
he's gonna make the best comments.
Every time, like the feds
For
don't
your
want Kinetic to be great.
Kinetic, you cut out and you were making like a like I'm sure an amazing.
Like I could hear like your like decibels like slowly rising. Like
oh
you know
Yep.
man.
like when you know like a car is about to go like 0 to 60, like a nice Lamborghini's like you can hear warming up. It's going to take off. Like I was like yes, and then you went. Quiet.
Gone.
No man, but I don't know, man. No, but seriously, for your something to get stiff. Looking at it,
Listen, I'm not laughing
Listen,
at any man out there that finds
I laugh at no
comfort
person.
in one of these dolls. You know
Once
what?
again, I don't know your life.
It's
I'd rather
hard
be a
out
doll
there.
than a cadaver. I would rather be a doll than a cadaver. I'd rather it be a doll than an animal because there's some dudes who like you can't leave your dog alone with them. Listen, like I said, everybody has a little deviation in them according to somebody else's perspective. There are people who are perfectly good with the fact that you ride your horse and your horse rides you. Fact of life. Like it's illegal, but there's like a community for it. There are people who
Yes.
like to dress up like furry animals and like Pikachu to get it in, and that's the only way that anything is popping up or not needing KY. There, listen, different strokes for different folks. I'm not here to
No,
judge.
no.
I'm gonna ask you questions.
Said to
I'm
judge
not.
outside of normal. Okay, that's
I'm
normal.
listen, and once again, that's normal based on your theory of relativity, which is why I say I'm not here to judge. I'm going to ask you because I have a voracious appetite for learning. I'm genuinely curious
Them
about
beads
human
forget them
beings. I'll
eyes,
make them
boss.
tick.
Every
But
one of
here's
them
my
beads forget
thing.
beads.
My concern is always with like expenditure because I need to know like what makes you invest anything more than like a few $100s for any form of like entertainment that has like no continuous ROI. Like if you spend $1,500 on a trip, there is going to be cultural immersion. There are going to be memories. A tan lasts for a good 3 months if you go to a beautiful sunny place. Like there's continuous ROI. If you're spending $15,000 Bay, I need to know like what do you think you are like I don't know what you name her. I'm sure you like at $15,000 she better have a name. She better have
Oh
a name. She
yeah.
better file taxes and she better have a job. Because she needs to do more than just help you get your rocks off in 5 minutes. That's a lot of money to spend on a 5 minute like
But think about it.
experience.
I mean, he could be spending it on a real life doll that he buys for an
You
hour
Like
could
or
bet it. No,
two,
but you
you can
could
buy
bet.
an
No,
or
escort
listen,
for a
listen,
month.
that's what I
listen.
mean.
But you could
No,
go home,
well,
go
maybe a
find
month, yeah.
yourself. You
But
could
the
go
doll
home.
lasts. I'm sure this doll lasts a long time.
No, but you
Or you
Listen,
could
I
understand
go
don't
what
home.
listen. This
You
this
could
is
go
not
home,
like
find
bundles
yourself
of
a
weave
nice.
care. This is holes with a personality. Like you just told me that there's a foot with a hole on it.
I think so. I think that's what
Like they exist. It's a thing. There's also boobs with holes on them. Like there's a hole. It's listen. It's a rabbit hole. Don't do it. That's why I say get off the internet.
Oh, here's another hole.
Um, stop it. Stop
Be
it.
like,
Stop
oh,
it.
here's another.
Log
Next thing you
off
know,
the internet right now. Listen, you will not go to sleep, and we all have work in the morning. So here's my thing, and here's my takeaway. Um, you because I have not lived your life. I don't know what brought you to this point. I'm hoping you're not bankrupting yourself and you're not putting yourself in debt for Silicon Bay. I'm hoping that there is a real return on investment. I don't know if you're socially awkward. I don't know if this is just a weird fetish. I don't know if this is like level one like sociopath and next thing you know you're a serial killer and you're trying to recreate Silicon Bay in like chicks you like snatch up from Central Park. I don't know what your life is. I'm not in a position to judge. I'm just hoping that whatever you're doing with this investment in this inanimate girlfriend or inanimate boyfriend, because there are male versions to this, there might be hermaphrodite versions. I don't know. Okay, then listen, it's like I said, it's a rabbit hole. Whatever you're spending your money on, I am hoping that it does not negatively impact anybody else. That is my only thing. If Silicon Bay is all that you need to get through life because you've never been able to have a conversation with a woman or a man, it makes you uncomfortable, you break out in hives, you pee in yourself. I don't know what your life is. I don't know what happened to you in the 5th grade. If this is what works for you and you're not killing anybody and you're not broke and my taxes aren't, keeping you on welfare so you can stay at home with your plastic boyfriend, girlfriend, or, both. If there's a two-in-one option or a none-in-one option, you have the Ken doll option, whatever it is,
Hmm.
as long as you're not hurting anybody else, do you, boo. If you're in a relationship, please just have an adult conversation about the situation. If y'all want to play with a toy together, may the force be with you. If you want to watch her play with your toy, whatever. Just be adults about it. Have the conversation. Kinetic gonna judge you. I'm not gonna judge you. I'm just gonna ask
right?
you questions because I'm nosy.
But I'm gonna run from
Care is
you
gonna
though.
hope that you
I'm
break
gonna
up with
run from
Silicon
you. Yeah.
Bay when she comes. She gonna be her car. She gonna be the parking lot for like a good like 30 minutes talking about you to her homegirl. And now every time you go to a barbecue, her homegirl gonna be looking at you funny. So just know that if her homegirl looking at you crazy, she know about your little friend in the hallway closet.
Jeez.
We
No.
all know. Um, but I
You
think
just
that this
listen to me carefully.
Oh
all your
gosh.
relationship,
Oh gosh.
toys, finances, diseases, criminal records, fetishes, weird addictions. You like to lick feet. You like to sniff armpits because apparently this is a thing and there's a community for that too. Whatever it is that helps you get your rocks off, please just have adult conversations. That's my only thing. active and clear communication is my only request, because people are not having communication and people are not having necessary conversations. And that's why this planet is the way that it is right now, because y'all keep on keeping secrets, and Silicone Bay is falling out the closet when somebody trying to clean your house as a surprise. And now y'all just having, she wanted to, boards and, change the sheets for you. Now she's looking at you like, maybe she needs to call 911 and tell your mama that you crazy. I'll just talk to each other, please. That is my only takeaway. Talk to each other. Kinetic don't judge you, though.
You're damn right. I have a slightly different view on it. When it comes down to it, listen, anything that you have to hide because you would think other people it's abnormal to other people. You see, you don't hide things if you know it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
But normal is relative.
No. So when you all say
about
that
person's
whatever you do behind closed doors.
What happens when the dark comes out in the lights?
No, I'm saying is, if you have to hide it, you need to go get yourself rechecked and rewired properly. Because real talk, listen, $15,000, that's a down payment on a house. You know what I could do with that?
Why?
Part of it.
Care if you don't stop sending this trash in the group. I told you, get off the internet.
I'm done.
Right now. Right now. It's nights like this that I wish that we had a separate website, because I'm pretty sure Vex would fire all of us if we posted this on FaceRadio.com. But it's nights like this where I wish y'all could see what happens in our Instagram chat, so you understand my depth of petty and shade. And why Karen should be banned from Google when she finds foolishness, and why Kinetic is rude and well-liked all the time. Because, first of all, why does this foot, are those bonbons next to it? And why are her toes bedazzled in Instagram shoes? First of all, this doesn't... Happy Halloween, trick or treat. No, sir, no. First of all, if you're a grown man and putting a dingling in a foot,
I'm like, what in
I'm
the hell is going on?
I'm busting out my Urkel frames and a notepad. We gonna have a serious session, and it's free. I'm not even gonna charge you, but I'm gonna ask you some questions. But to our listeners, Superman Jones, anybody else who's logged in, vexradio.com 24/7 for the dopest R&B and new music, as well as current events. You can find out about why Kanye West is meeting up with Donald Trump, as well as retired.
And it was Black Day, exactly. Retired NFL players.
Retired NFL players and Heisman Trophy winners are just dropping in Trump towers. I don't know if they're trying to make sure that they don't get lynched when when martial law happens. I don't know what's being negotiated. But if you want to read about that,
they invited all the Black men that they're going to invite today.
Real talk. They really need to do a cake. I said, real talk. We need to do a cake with Kerosene DM uncovered.
No. Some things should just never see the light of day. Y'all got children. I ain't got no kids, and I know I'm gonna be the crazy bubble mom who tells her kids everything, but they can only find out from me. So there's no fallout. All my siblings are over the age of 18. My mama listens to this podcast, so she knows my depth of crazy. She gave birth to me 32 years ago. She knows what she released on the planet. She knows what this is. So I have nothing to hide, but y'all have picked me, so y'all can have these conversations. The DM's uncovered. May the force be with y'all and your kids, because your kids gonna look at y'all different. Your kids gonna judge y'all. I ain't got no kids, and my kids, I'm gonna be like, wait, you 12? Let me tell you what your mama did. Let me show you. Sit down.
Oh God.
Sit down. Yeah, I got a PowerPoint, and I'm gonna explain myself. Let me tell you what happened, because I don't want nobody else coming to you. You know your mama all about transparency. Let me tell you what happened was. This one time, Jose Cuervo. That's how the story always starts. But like I said, vexradio.com. You can tune in 24/7, 365, where it's always online. We're online every Tuesday from 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Vex Radio. All the archive shows can be found on YouTube. If you're on this channel, you can go back. We try to make the show 2 hours long. I think that's only ever happened once, and that's because Karen got kicked off. That's literally what happened. It was like technical difficulty. She got booted off, and that's how the show ended. Otherwise, the show has never been 2 hours in life, like ever. So that just ain't gonna happen. With that being said, please go get tested. Please have adult conversations with your partners. If you like toys, please make sure that we're not just talking about PS4. I'm not
us for
like
because I am
no,
not posting this link, and I'm not
listen,
promoting
ain't
this
nobody DM
company.
me. Don't slide in my DMs about this because I didn't find this. I don't know these websites or these Instagram handles. I'm not about this. Like I told y'all. Everybody should have some
Oh
toys. I don't care
gosh.
if it's a PS4 or a rabbit, whatever y'all adults want to play with that helps y'all get through the night. Y'all need to have adult conversations. But if you start, spending Honda Civic money on these toys, you need to have these adult conversations with a therapist and a psychiatrist involved because I think that this is deeper than just the money.
That's
You
my
also need to
point. You
stand.
just complimented my point right
Once
there.
again,
You
I
fired
said
me.
I listen. I said I'm going to ask questions. I said I'm not going to judge. I also think you should see an accountant because you just spent $1,500 on something you can't take outside. I don't that doesn't process for me. It might process for you. I'm not saying it's abnormal because my normal is not your normal. My normal is hella crazy in China, so I can't really judge you. And that's why I don't judge you because it's all about perspective.
I
With that
really
being
enjoyed being a
said,
passenger on this ship.
please do not come in our DMs. Oh, listen, you can go to Care's DMs. Take with Care C. She the only person you need to DM about this foolishness and these shenanigans
You
we just
damn right.
mentioned. Because you go to Kinetic, you ask him, he gonna cuss you out. He gonna post about you so everybody knows that you're crazy and you're asking
Oh
foolishness. He
gosh.
gonna judge you. He gonna block you. I'm
But
gonna side eye you,
what the
and
craziest
I'm
thing
gonna
is,
interrogate you. Like that's
no,
it. Like I'll
what's
show you pictures
crazy,
and send you to the websites.
you look at the
That's the only
list of
person.
those the
No,
makeup artist.
no, no.
Okay.
Do you see who keeps on talking about this? Do you see who keeps on getting
No,
on the internet? She on Bing, Yahoo,
God,
Yandex, Baidu, Google. She just finding new websites by herself because Kinetic ain't hitting Google. I refuse to touch Google. This is just her finding little lists, finding little websites. She finding hoo-ha's and feet, and they got ugly shoes. They got swap meet shoes on. Like this ain't us. This is Care by herself.
Yep.
With that
You
being
getting thrown
said,
on the bus and ran over.
I'm not getting thrown on the bus. I'm just pointing out. I just think we need to be accountable. I'm shady and
oh
I'm petty. I
gosh,
own that. That's what I
oh
do.
gosh, oh gosh.
I'm also the
This
savage
is
punk who
straight
don't watch horror
comedy.
movies.
This
But
is
Kia over here would like swap me like clogs. Like I haven't seen wages like this. Just like TLC was telling people they ain't too proud to beg and left eye had a condom on her eye. Like there's so many things that are wrong. Like
oh gosh. No.
there's candy
Yo,
I don't trust.
I enjoyed being a
Like
passenger on this ship tonight.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Okay.
like there's so many there's
This
just
is
so
so
I'm
comical.
sweating, my eyes are itching, like I'm just uncomfortable right now. I don't get uncomfortable often, but I think I need to call my therapist and schedule an appointment for Thursday.
Okay.
The takeaway is
Well,
please have
actually,
conversations.
someone
That's all I'm
text.
saying.
Okay, so someone texted me.
And Karen got the DM.
No, I did not get it, and I actually don't want it. I'm done. It's just that I got this was a good laugh. This was crazy. But what I found funny, looking at some of the comments and seeing the normal looking people that have commenting on these things, I'm like, never know. So it goes back to background checks. Check out these people that you're meeting and dating wherever you meet them because you never know. But no, someone texted me saying I didn't talk about my 2016, but I'll save that. Maybe I'll get into it next week. But yeah, I think it's so I will. We'll all
We
kind of
already know. You flew to Jamaica 3 times for the cake fade.
listen.
Hold on.
You
Hold
don't
on.
talk
Was it
Christmas is
is
coming
it
back, man. You
Hurricane
get that flight booked
Otto?
yet?
Is that the last hurricane that hit the Caribbean? I don't know. I haven't really checked the weather forecast.
I don't know.
So here's the takeaway to all our listeners. Because I'm pretty sure that next week will be like our last show for the year because you're going to be in Jamaica. Kinetic, are you going away?
No, you know what? I got too much going on. 2017 around the corner. I'm still
Yeah, I will be in the country. Me and Kinetic will be in Toronto.
yeah.
Yeah, we
Kinetic will
talked
probably be
about
at a
that.
party. his Fridays are always lit. I'm like, this man I was talking about how he got meetings. And I'm like, how come your meetings always involve a bar and like and like a logo by like a club photographer? I need to have conversations about it because my meetings don't happen like this. Like my meetings, I'm trying not to fall asleep. But what I think would be dope for everybody who's tuned in and listened to us all year long, because we really appreciate your
Hey,
loyalty and you telling your
It's getting
friends,
there.
even though y'all are about as punkish about calling in as I am about horror
Exactly.
movies.
I'm getting
So
texts.
I think what would be dope is that in the new year we do a getting to know us
Yeah.
show
Yes. Yes. Yes.
each week of
Yes.
January, so you can learn more about us. So if you'd like to learn more about Care, Kinetic, and myself, Miss Supernerd, you have between now and the end of 2016 before y'all start posting your new year, new me, and I'm leaving my ex and all my friends and all the haters. Ain't nobody hating on you. Nobody knows you.
Right.
But see that petty and shady is what I do.
Mhm.
To come up with questions, and we will each take one night for y'all to get to really know us, because you've heard snippets about us, you've heard snippets about what's important to us, how we function, what we judge y'all on. Because I told y'all, Kinetic gonna judge y'all about your toys. I'm gonna judge y'all about being hooked on phonics. I told y'all if I have to spell check your text messages, we can't be friends. Um, I'm judging. Like if I have to bust out a red pen on my Note 5, I'm
Mhm. We
I'll
got
see
it.
you on the road at Caribbean weekend. And I'll be in Barbados, so you'll be on the road by yourself. But anyway,
come join us.
and Karen will not date you if she has to pay for the date. So
There you
you've
go.
learned little bits about us, but we would love for y'all to get to know us and to actually have conversations with us. So we're hoping that your 2017 New Year's resolution is y'all gonna join the conversation. Y'all gonna tell us what you want to listen to and hear about, and y'all are gonna stop being punks and call in. I'm not gonna start watching horror movies. I'm just gonna level set that ain't they ain't no New Year, new me foolishness talking about, oh, I'm gonna go watch Saw. So don't expect me to reciprocate. But I really hope y'all
In
tune
other
in.
ways. Yeah, in other ways. But yes,
vexradio.com every Tuesday,
Kinetic,
starting at 9
any
p.m. Eastern.
final words for the night?
I think just touching on, you know, like what we talked about in terms of resolutions or like things that, and I think it's exactly that. Um, I always have and it's make goals, not resolutions. And I mean, I know I'm closing out the year a little early, but a lot of people need to start about this to
Every damn time. Honestly, listen, CSIS, FBI, Interpol, just mind your business. Like the man is trying to
Oh,
say
like let's make
constructive things. Like just let him say what he got to say. Just one time for the one time.
okay. But you know what? Make sure you're $1 richer than you were last year, at least, with health and strength, and concentrate on your health and strength, whether it be mental and physical. Make sure that you take care of yourself mentally and physically. Um, and the most important thing is, you know what? Love your people now.
Amen.
because you
Before they turn
never
into a
know.
hashtag.
Yeah, you never know
That's my
tomorrow.
my goals every year. I mean, this basically that's exactly what I saw. I'll pass bestow that little piece of knowledge on the way, and
Mine is
and
always shady.
I
I
swear,
do.
I swear, Miss Super Nerd, you carried this show tonight. You made me laugh. You are hilarious. I was glad I was a passenger on this ship and listening. I could have sat out and said nothing, which well, basically I did, but you know, it was funny. You're hilarious, yo. We need to like get her show, man. Like, damn.
Being shady and petty is not hilarious. That's just mean.
Oh
Let
no,
me say my
that
5 cents. Even
yo,
though I
come on,
told
yo,
y'all to
take
call
credit where
me.
the credit's due, man. You were funny.
Thank you kindly. I just want to thank my mom for having me.
No,
I want to thank my daddy for
no,
not being
no,
a hoe
don't
that
go in
night.
on your daddy
She was
right
my
now.
mama.
Yeah. No.
Miss Karen
Rest in
C,
peace,
what are
daddy.
you
I love
taking
you.
away?
What'd you say?
I said, Miss
Your
Karen C,
turn.
what's
No.
your take? What's your, Miss Super Nerd's takeaway?
What?
Do you want me to give you some time?
No, I said as Mr. Supernerd says,
That's why I
third
thought you said what is her takeaway?
takeaway.
Because I thought she was right in the kind of putting in her 5 cents. I thought that's what you were saying, but I
No,
guess
no,
that
no.
was
I
your
saying
thank you.
how
Okay, you
her
know
say
what? We
fake.
are no, actually, you know what? My 2016. I'm going to take a little more than 5 minutes, so I think I might, or yeah, I might take about 5 minutes. We'll say that. I think we're like, so we're back next week Tuesday. Yeah.
Every Tuesday,
Can I get a yeah,
9
yeah?
p.m. Eastern.
Okay, 9 p.m. Eastern right here. And yeah, we're kind of gonna do our final, most likely, or close to end. Yeah, round up the 2016. And but this show, I think I'm echoing everything you guys said just about uh but you sound like you were closing out for the year talking about 2017. Like I'm not going that far right now, but
Yeah, well, yeah,
stay safe, stay warm.
You know why she ain't going that far, y'all, because she ain't hopped on a flight and hopped on it. Continue as you were saying.
Stay protected and all that good stuff until next week because we'll be back. And by the way, like I actually got a real tree for the first time ever this year, so that's a good thing. That's a
You
first.
got what? What was
A
that?
real tree for
A
the
real
first time
tree.
ever this year because I just
In Jamaica or here in
yeah, I
Toronto?
got one in Jamaica too. We got all
Bum,
decorated.
bum,
No, I'm
bum, bum,
kidding. No,
I
I'm
bum,
bet you
kidding.
he
bum.
did.
No, we decorate outside
Bum,
under the
I
bushes. No,
bet
I'm
you he
kidding.
did.
No, 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 no. No, here we put up a real tree, my daughter and I. And so this actually she decorated. It's kind of cute. And it's real and it smells good. And yeah, I lifted this thing by myself halfway kind of thing. But the man that helped
Like you
me
have like a
pick it out,
live tree?
yes, like a real,
That's dope.
yeah. So it's actually no pictures will be going up online because it's not that cute. But we might redecorate this weekend because we were kind of missing some things. But my daughter insisted on putting this ugly, like what's that garland? Like I don't know. She was went a little crazy, but it's fun. It's actually kind of fun. But anyway, so I just looked over at it and I thought, but I'm just keeping this thing moist because I don't want any kind of fires, any kind of craziness going on in here. So
Too easy.
that's my thing. So I'll tell you guys that make sure you water your trees, keep them hydrated. We don't need another, fatality. And come back here next week. If you missed any part of this show, it is a podcast, as we always remind you, and it's on all the podcast players, uh, iTunes, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, YouTube, of course, TuneIn Radio, and remind the people where they can find you guys before we say peace. The Super Nerd
You can
at
find me
Super Nerd.
at Miss Super Nerd, 3 S's, not
Now,
two, on Instagram, Snapchat, which I just started recently using again, Twitter, and Facebook. And my website will be up for Christmas. And my 5 second takeaway is like Kinetic. I have started thinking about my 2017 already, maybe because I work in a corporate environment. And so I was doing year-end planning in September. So don't wait for the new year to roll up on you. Stay ready and you won't have to get ready for any opportunities and or blessings. Yeah, I think 2017, if there's anything that I would like to see differently, I don't want to see any more Juju on the Beat challenges. I don't want to see no Running Man challenge. I want to see a good credit challenge. I want to see a
Bam, bam,
well,
degree
you need to
challenge.
start it.
I
You need
want
to
to
start one
see
somehow.
a home ownership challenge. I want to see a community funding challenge. I want to see a mentorship challenge. So, if you tag me in some ratchet dance craze, and I called it ratchet. I said it in 2017. It's the last thing you tag me in because I'm going to block you from life,
Wow.
including human interaction. So, 2017, please keep it positive
mentality that.
because the world is imploding. The foolishness needs to stop, and people need to start prioritizing not only improving themselves but improving their communities. So that's what I would like to see in 2017. Super
Kinetic.
nerd out.
Yeah.
At Kinetic. At iKinetic.
Well, no, actually, right
100
now,
only on
see,
Instagram.
Oh,
you
you've
see,
changed.
I've just discovered the wonderful world of a certain online purchasing site I don't know, but Kinetic now and has .ca at the end of it.
Oh my goodness.
I've never realized that this site is so damn addictive.
Repeat it. Repeat. Say it again. Because you
Amazon.
were blocked out. Amazon.
No,
You just discovered Amazon?
I said a.ca. I didn't say no free promotion, but I just discovered the beautiful of purchasing Amazon. I don't do that. So I went and got myself one of those prepaid cards, and I purchased, and I went Arsenal crazy. I never
Oh God, are you an Arsenal fan too?
Huh?
You're an Arsenal fan too?
Yes, he posts about them all the time.
You can stop this. You done know about this already. Like, my tops are like $200, and I'm getting tops real Arsenal jerseys for like $50, and
I have Amazon Prime if you want it overnight.
Girl.
Okay, they're gonna talk. They're gonna talk a little later. But in the meantime, you can follow him and see how much of a fan he is at Kinetic 100 on Instagram.
There you go. That's her way of saying, get off my phone.
No.
And if you slide in the DMs, do not ask about the sites that Kara asked about, and do not talk to him about business that does not have ROI. I'm going to keep on telling y'all this because I'm pretty sure there's been a few people who got the side eye and then wondered why they can no longer see his profile on the internet. It's because you blocked, because you were stupid. So y'all heard him judge y'all. Don't give him a reason to judge y'all. That's all I gotta say.
Dummies.
Okay, my final. Sorry, I'm reading a message.
Yeah, we know what message you reading.
No.
What is this now? Is this like
Ron popcorn?
You guys are so silly. I didn't finish my comment. No, because I said I was going to talk about this whole relationship thing once we got into the relationship thing, which I did not. But all I'm going to say about that right now, because I don't got to go too deep, and I've already talked about it, is I don't really believe in cutting things. That's all I was going to say, because I remember.
Off?
You don't believe in cutting things? What do you mean?
Yeah, like relationships,
like off?
guys. I think we just glide. Yeah, sorry. No, I think life is about just gliding, and so even the rough, like the waves and stuff like this of this year, which maybe I'll go into a little more next week. It's like not so much about okay, you see, now it's that time, people, where they start getting really silly. When your kids need to get to bed, and they just start acting crazy before they bust out crying and whining because
it's a stud 100.
They're so silly.
Big Zaddy Kane. We ain't talking about the Christmas candy cane either. And as you're saying,
they're so crazy. But anyway, we just move from one to the next, and I think everything happens for a reason. And lessons, we got to carry the lessons but not necessarily, you can cut ties, but you can't cut experiences and cut lessons and everything like that. That's all I was about to say, people. So I know you can't.
I already graduated from high school. What am I going back to high school for?
No, but you'll never forget your experiences and your lessons and even
selective amnesia. But what I need to remember, I barely remember half the people I graduated from high school with. My bad.
Yeah. No, that was real talk. No, Kiersey, that was real talk because there's a lot of lessons that I had that 2016 retaught me. Real talk. That is some real information you just gave right there because, like, what, you get settled into your routine and your ideas and things. And when things yeah, man, real talk. You were so right when you said that. I just kind of reflected when, I can't even argue with that.
No. Listen,
so we'll get into that. We'll touch on that next week. Touch on that, and as we move into 2017, as we look forward, we'll kind of see how much looking back do you do. So that'll be part of the show next week. And
that's the problem.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But that's one of my rules, though. It's like, you know what? 2016. My thing is right. If we have a problem between January 1st in the Gregorian calendar to December 31st, the Gregorian calendar, if I don't deal with you on that, I do not bring that baggage, that loot, or that headache into 2017.
The BS bucket.
I cut it off or I cut you off. It's one of the two.
The BS bucket, I mean, this is valid. I just, I listen. I don't even have the attention span to remember it. So you're lucky if I remember you in 2017 if you ticked me off. You might not make it to the next month after you tick me off, to be quite honest. So if you make it to the next year, you the real MVP.
And on that note, good night, people.
All right.
Supernerd out.
Next week. All righty.
All
Take
right,
care.
yo. Bye. Yo, Miss Supernerd,
Silly.
you were hilarious tonight, man. Yo.